Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, Ireland's only answer to Harry Kane, bringing you Answer Me with Jack Kineke. We have drafted in Darius to cover for Danny Kyriakou today, who's off studying for his exams. I wouldn't allow him to come on. I told him to study. And we were supposed to be joined by Bob Spur. I'm not sure whether Bob Spur is just running late or whether he's having a nap. I'm not sure. But look, we could be joined by Bob Spur. Look, make sure you do smash a like on the stream. Subscribe on the channel if you're new. Feel free to get your super chats in and become a channel member. You know, if you feel like supporting the channel. And also when the chat hots up like it always does, it guarantees that we discuss your comments and everything else. Look, Jack, how are you, my man?
Not bad, David. I will say, you know, the heart's still pumping a little bit. Got to cool myself down with a bit of a Rada burger right here, you know, and calm myself down with a bit of German Pilsner because that was a little too frightful, I will say.
It was. And actually, everybody, that's why I know you're usually expected at 9:30. That's why I put it out for 10 o'clock today because of the Euros. Me and Jack did want to sit down and watch the France and Portugal game, and Jack wanted to sit down and watch the Germany-Hungary game. So that's why we are on a little bit late today. But Darius from Paxton Raw TV, how are you keeping, my man?
Mate, I just want to say, even if I had exams, I'd probably still choose to do a stream. So I salute Danny for doing his exams, but I'm doing good. I watched the Portugal-France game, and it was a good game, to be fair. But I mean, anything's better than watching Spurs at the moment. So I think I've watched all but 2 Euros games just to watch good football. So yeah, I'm enjoying myself at the moment. Yeah, long may it live.
Well done.
100%. 100%. But look, let's welcome a few members of the Harris Army in the building. We have Ayman Armeja, big yourself up. We have Cara Simpson, evening all. I hope you are well. I predict the manager by May 2022. Wow. Big yourself up. He wasn't sleeping. He wasn't napping. It's Bob Spur. Oh, Jack, go on. You can
I got you. We got the Bob in the building.
I forgot that, guys. I feel like I'm missing out now. What's going on?
Yeah, man. Hey, Darius. Yeah, boy.
yeah. Have you watched the 3rd episode, Bob? Have you watched the 3rd episode yet?
No, don't tell me.
Oh, mate, you're in for it. But let's not talk about that.
Bob was watching the 2nd episode. That's what he was doing.
I was engrossed in the Hungary-Germany game, mate. Bloody hell.
Great game.
We got KJ Warvik or KJ Varvik, whatever it. Awesome surname, by the way. Just become a member here at the Tottenham or at Irish Hotspur. So big up yourself, KJ.
Big yourself up. Welcome to the Harris Army, my man. And he also says, I got my flat cap on and waiting. Big yourself up. Look, you hope you have the Ben and Jerry's too. If you have that missing this week, just get it in for next week, my man. Cookie dough is my favorite flavor. That's what I recommend to go and get. But make sure you have the Ben and Jerry's out as well. And make sure you keep emailing them and adding them on social media till we get that sponsorship. Aglea Kakaratis, oh my God, come on already. Loving your head bandage pick of our newest hero, Hojbjerg, the warrior. Yeah, look, he is an absolute warrior. I had to specifically pick that pick out to get him in. He's an absolute legend, and we will be touching on him. Kenneth Newsom, William McKenzie, big yourself up. We have the disabled team. Good evening, how are you keeping? We have Chris, the funniest man on the planet. He says, evening, David. I hope it kept you entertained Monday night. Yeah, not only me, the whole of the Harris Army, my man. Sue Smith is in the building as well. Levy out, Enoch out, # Harris Army.
Big up,
Aglea, 30 minutes shave off the start, but you're well worth the wait. Keeping it Harris Army all the way. Yeah, no, look, we're not shaving 30 minutes off. We'll go for as long as it takes. Don't worry about that. Do not worry about that.
Don't worry, Ali.
We have Alejandro Perez. Group of death lived up to expectations, 100%. Dan N. Rank these terrible manager choices. Dermot Miles, I hope you're keeping well, my man. I hope all is good. He says, evening, guys. Harris Army on the way.
Big up, Dermot.
Will the strong man Stuart. I'm not sure if this is actually his account or a fake account. I do not know. Bob might know. You never know what Will and his antics. All right, folks. Let's buckle up for a wild stream. Richard Bennett, how are you keeping, my man? Jamie Gitt is in the building. Emily Dunn is in the building as well. We have Mr. Daigle as well. Yeah, I bet you're excited. I'm excited for you to go home, man. The Irish Hotspur hat. I love this. Whoever's created this account, absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Follow me on Twitter. Let me know who it is. Big up the panel. Big up the chat.
I'm hoping to see a Bob Diesel in there tonight as well with a hat on.
Big up anybody with an Irish flat cap. The regulars in the building. Cody Mack. Big yourself up. He's loving the intro. James Watson. this and that. Oh, big everybody up, big everybody up. Munsir Ali, Will Stewart, that's not me, but it definitely looks like me. I'm still not sure whether it's Will or not. I'm still confused.
It's 100% him. He's pulling us.
He was invented last night, and it's definitely not him.
Okay. And we have people in here loving Darius on the panel as well. Yeah,
yes,
a good addition to the panel, I have to say. Very good addition to the panel. And Brian Daigle, yeah, still no protest. Levy out, Parasites out. Yeah, and I don't know what that last bit says, to be honest with you, Brian. My eyes aren't the best right now, I have to say. But Jack, look, let's take it away, man. Let's get into it. Let's get into the questions, man. This is what the people are here for.
Yeah, let's take it away, David. Let's take it away. And, the first question is kind of just, we're obviously in this managerial hunt, this managerial search. And sometimes, right, we don't get to take a moment, think to ourselves, right, like, what is the ideal, like, what is the type of football we like to see? What is the type of manager that we like to see at the helm? And so maybe this is more just like get to know you kind of question. And so I'm going to start with Bob here, and then I'm going to go work to Darius and then David. But with Bob, maybe we don't know. Maybe you've said before, but I feel like I don't know. Like, what type of manager or maybe playing style do you feel like you just identify with, or maybe in this moment in time want to see at Spurs? Like an attacking style, maybe more of a defensive kind of pragmatic kind of style, or maybe just that Jose style, or, just style that, anything takes to win, really?
I think a winning style first and foremost, but I understand we need to
he's
do something about it. Yeah, but there is one goal that really sticks out for me from last season. I've mentioned it a couple of times. It's not the goal itself; it was a build-up, and it was against Arsenal. Aurier, I think it was Sancho, I can't remember, playing out to Lo Celso playing out to Kane, Turn playing it into Sonny, who ran the pitch and curled it in. It was from back to front in seconds, caught Arsenal off guard, and even the second goal when Sonny went through and played in Harry to finish off with his left. That's, for me, is Tottenham through and through, especially in that first half where we looked solid defensively, but on the counter-attack, we looked awesome. We played one-touch football. We played it through the lines. We played it over the top. We played it long. We played it short.
So that's been more of a defensive pragmatic one, Bob. That's probably more of like a pragmatic kind of style, you'd probably say.
But we can be pragmatic if we've got the players up front to hurt the opposition. Suffice to say, if we were playing with the likes of, with all due respect, a Soldado and whoever else, we wouldn't be able to play that way. But when we've got two world-class strikers like that up front, we can be pragmatic because we know. I mean, just in that game, we had Kane, Sonny, and Bergwijn, who were constantly hitting the opposition over and over and over again. Yes, not every single attack ended up with a shot on goal or a chance, but we certainly had them on edge. Not so much against Man City, because they did put us under a cosh a bit more. But that, for me, that move sticks out for me. It's so prominent for me from last season. And it's just a shame we only saw it once. In the whole season, we only saw it once. And that, for me, right now, with the players we have, and potentially bringing in, because we're not going to bring in players who are going to play the Man City or the Barcelona way, but that's probably the best way, in my opinion.
Yeah, interesting. I kind of agree with you, Bob. Darius, this is kind of a get to know you question, and you can answer it however you want. Maybe what you think is best for Spurs, or maybe what you like yourself. But are you more of an attacking style kind of guy, or are you more of like a defensive, pragmatic, always sit in that low block and then go from there from the counter? Or are you kind of just like whatever manager takes whatever as long as he does whatever it takes to win, he doesn't identify with the style, he just does what it takes to win? I mean, of those three, I feel like, what do you feel like you identify with, or which one do you think is best for Spurs?
So for me, I'll tell you what my favorite team of all time is in my lifetime, and it's Barcelona from 2009 to 12. So for me, I love watching that football. For me, when I played as a kid, and my dad Sam, who's at Paxton Road as well, he coached me. And when we played, and when I played as a kid, it was all about putting on a show and enjoying your football. So from that sort of side of things, I really, really, really like to watch attacking football. And I think that it has positives and negatives, but above all, everybody likes to enjoy watching football. But as you get older and as you watch football and you see sort of the way teams win games, you need to have a bit of pragmatism in every single team. And I think that the only time that going blindly and attacking and being successful wins is when you've got players who are capable and who are worth your 60, 70 millions like you Man City to be able to do that. So for me, it's a case of looking at who you support, I guess, and who you are as a person. As a Tottenham fan, first and foremost, I want to enjoy watching my team because we don't win trophies, clearly. So I'm going to have to say I'd prefer attacking football, but it's been proven now, and with the managers that are coming in recently, and I like to give the example of Thomas Tuchel, it's very, very, very well, not easy, but it's apparent, and it's there in football now to see that you can be attacking and you can also be pragmatic, and you can take a game. You could take games on a game-by-game basis and not necessarily have to deploy a philosophy for every single game, because Thomas Tuchel has a philosophy, but he also changes his style for each match and each opponent. So for me, above all, I would love to see, and I also, sorry to add on to that, is watching attacking football and watching your team play attacking football normally brings your team close together if you're not winning trophies. Jose brought Chelsea together because they won things, and the way they played football led to them winning things. But if they weren't winning things, I don't think the fans would be as happy. When you play good football and you enjoy watching your team play, look at Leeds, for example. They obviously had a great season, but obviously if they didn't do very well, they would still love their team 100% because of the football that they play. So there's a lot of positives to the attacking football, which is why I'll probably have to say that. But I can 100% see, and as older as you get, there is a lot. And like I said, there's too many positives to pragmatic football. I think that it has to be in every single team. But attacking football for me personally, 100%. That
was a fantastic answer, by the way.
Thank you.
I do think that Tuchel kind of comparison was like a really good one, because it's like you could have like the attacking philosophy yet still be pragmatic game to game. And so I really do agree with that. Absolutely, 100%. David,
let's not forget, Jack. This Tuchel came into a team that conceded over 50 goals under Lampard.
100%. That's
right.
And he brought in his style, brought in his attacking philosophy, defensive philosophy, and he showed how to
sheet. Yeah.
Not to mention that he didn't bring centre-backs in, sorry to interrupt you, Bob.
Exactly.
He but he improved Christensen and Rudiger, and they are now, for me, stalwarts in that defence. Yeah. They are the reason that they've been so well.
Rudiger is the best defender right now for Germany, I would say. Of actual defending skills, the best one.
Yeah.
And for me, that was another qualm with Jose Mourinho. Yeah, we had shit players. We have shit players. Are we 10 minutes? Yeah, all right, I can say shit. I just feel he could have done a lot more. He could have done a lot better. Tuchel showed the way. You can be dodgy defensively and bring it and sharpen it up, and play a formation where the players are comfortable in. And Jose failed to do that. So, but we're not about Jose.
Yeah. I mean, but absolutely, really fantastic answers, both of you. David, if you're able, what are you thinking? Is it the attacking style? Maybe is it a bit of Bielsa? Just relentless. Stick to your philosophy no matter what. Is it a defensive one? Is it a bit of pragmatic? Maybe kind of like Conte. Even though Conte is a winner, I would still say he's kind of defensive and attacking at the same time, but a bit more defensive. Or would you say maybe pragmatic, which is kind of just Jose, right? Take whatever it takes to win. Whatever style, whatever formation, just as long as you win. I mean, which one are you for Spurs?
Look, I want a manager that's going to come in and win things, to be honest with you. I don't care what it takes to win it. I don't care how we play to win it at this stage. I just want a manager that comes in to win things. See, the thing is, you can have a manager that does both. You can have a manager that sets up against the smaller teams to play football and go at them and play attack. And then come the bigger games, you can, he can do his tactics and stuff and negotiate with tactics and everything else, go a bit defensive, big pragmatic to be able to get the result over the line. My only problem with that is for me, right now, as it stands, without making moves in the market, we do not have the players to play that way.
100%. 100%.
We lose the ball far too easy. We panic on the ball far too easy. We take 2, 3, 4 touches to get it under the control sometimes. And for me, like once you do that, you're slowing everything down. You're allowing everyone to get back. So therefore, they're taking the ball off you, and then because we're so poor on the ball, we're just giving the ball back, which means we ultimately end up sitting deeper. And the more the opposition have the ball, the deeper you drop. You tend to drop and drop and drop, not on purpose. It just happens.
Yeah.
So the thing is, for me, until we do get transfers in, me personally, I don't really know where we're going to play next year, but with bringing in the sporting director, you assume we are going to go with a style and a philosophy going forward, because the idea of the sporting director is to bring in players to fit your philosophy and your style, and then the head coach, which is what whoever comes in here will be. It's not manager, it's a head coach. They will work with the players that they're given. Now, maybe the first coach might be a bit, for me, this coach should be a bit different. They should be bringing in a coach with whatever style and philosophy they see going forward. Bring him in, allow him to clear what players he wants, and has the same the players coming in. After that, then that's when Paratici should be coming into his role and bringing the players in for this manager. So I assume we have a way we want to go and play. Now, Daniel Levy, it's attacking football, it's this and it's that. He gave his character description, but almost a lot of the managers that we've been linked with have gone against that. So I'm not sure what way we're supposed to be going. My gut feeling is that it probably is going to be Roberto Martinez after the Euros has ended. I think they are waiting until the Euros is finished. I think there could already be an agreement in place, because there's no way Daniel Levy would be sitting there that smug in the interview if there was nothing in place. So for me, I think there could be something in place. And it's just like the Belgium FA has said, you're not allowed to say anything until after the Euros. It's not allowed to leak out of camp. But I presume we're going to be looking at a possession, attacking-based style going forward next season. Due to what Daniel Levy said at the end of the season in his statement of what he's looking for in a manager, and we're bringing in a sporting director. That's all I can assume, is that we are going to head in that sort of direction. And that's the direction I hope we head in. But like I said, you can bring in a good manager who can play well. Teams you should be beating, go on and play attacking. Teams around the same level as you, go and attack them. The teams ahead of you, you can sit back and see what happens and try and grind out results. You can do a bit of both in football nowadays.
Yeah, I really
agree.
agree.
It's always been that way. It's always been like even Sir Alex Ferguson. There's games where he's told his team, sit back and just go on the counter. Right now, with the squad we have, I would say counter-attacking. If we don't buy anybody, a counter-attacking approach would suit this squad of players right now.
Yeah.
And
so
also,
it's hard
David,
to know what way we're going to go in. If they're going to go past possession and attacking, they have to bring in transfers. If they're not, and they don't have the money there to be bringing in massive transfers, they're going to have to get in someone who's an expert at playing counter-attacking football.
And also with Alex Ferguson, David, he always had his favourites in the bigger games. Remember, Park Ji-sung, always he's played Darren Fletcher. He'd always have his and I think he's got a
reliable,
record as
isn't
well.
it, Bob?
He wasn't afraid to drop a big name to bring in a workhorse, someone that he knew wouldn't do the work. He was brilliant at it.
But didn't he admit recently as well that what final was it against Barcelona? Was it I can't remember. It was when they lost the final, and he wished he'd brought Park Ji-sung on at half time to Mark Messi. To Mark Messi, yeah, remember that?
2007 was it? No, maybe that's I'm wrong.
I could have been 6-7.
Might have been.
And he goes, I wish I brought on Messi. And he goes, if I'd brought on, Park Ji-sung.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, Bob. Yeah.
He goes, I would have won. We would have won that. And that's how big. And when you think big name players at Man United, you think the Beckhams, Van Nistelrooys, and Rios and everything. But to him, when you speak the Neville brothers, Browns, Brown, Wes Brown, Park Ji-sung, and Darren Fletcher had just as much as importance in that history that he made at Old Trafford than all the big name players as well.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. And maybe a little follow-up. I mean, just because I just thought of this just now, would you guys say that maybe in the long run, maybe just think about Spurs in particular, which one maybe sells more tickets? Is it maybe the attacking style? Is it maybe the defensive style? Because honestly, we can't just say, obviously we can say whatever wins games sells tickets, but what do you think it is? I mean, at the end of the day, because sometimes the attacking style, maybe you can get a walloping every now and again, kind of like Leeds have. Which one do you think sells more tickets, maybe? Because that's what Levy might be interested in.
I think it's just purely winning, isn't it, guys?
And that's why it's the individual, isn't it? I think it's whoever wins the trophy will be seen as the loved person as opposed to the football that they play, because it's been 13 years since we've won a trophy. So I don't think the fans care necessarily who. If we play good football like Poch did and we get a second place and a third place and we get to Champions League finals, people will see that as great. That's cool. But if somebody wins a trophy, they will go down in history regardless of the football that they played. So it's a difficult one. I think it's based on what the person or what a Spurs fan wants, isn't it? I think every Spurs fan wants to win a trophy. So I think if we were to win a trophy as small as it is, I think everybody that manager will just be seen. Do you know what I mean? I think they will, even if Jose won a Carabao, if he wasn't sacked to win a Carabao, I guarantee you he'd be in a job. this right now as we speak. I really believe that.
And Darius, when we were top of the league, and Jose was playing pragmatic counter-attacking football, he was favourite of the month.
We loved it. And the thing is, what you said, Bob, was very true. I think, and also you as well, David. I think the point about the players and sort of being able to have the players to play that system is so important, because I believe that we did have the attacking players to play a pragmatic style, because when you've got players like Son and Kane, especially Son, who is like one of the best finishers in the world, you don't really need a lot of chances for him. And that's what Jose kind of developed. He sort of said, we're going to defend, and then I need you guys to take the chances because we're not going to have that many. But the problem was the defense. You couldn't trust the defense. So if that defense was better and then you still had Son and Kane to put away those chances, we'd be in a better situation. So there's so many things to kind of look at and review. But at the end of the day, it's you got to get over the line, and we didn't get over the line. And why is that? It has to be the players. A lot of that has to go down to the players. So
Doherty alluded to in one of his interviews there recently. You know, we could have done more. We should have done more under him. He alluded to it. That
do it.
Down to the players.
Late now, mate.
I'm actions over words now for me. I've seen it. I've heard it so many times at Tottenham now, and like, I'm one of these people I'm a very hopeful person. I'll always be like, oh, we might be able to do this, because I look at West Ham, I look at Villa, who were 17th, 16th in the leagues in the seasons before, and then look at them now. They're pushing up, they're making signings, but you need to actually have a plan. Do you know what I mean? So it's just difficult. It's difficult. But like I said, going back onto the football thing and the way we play football, if you do play good football and you are winning, or if you're winning regardless, for Tottenham, I think fans are going to get behind it. I think that's what's going to happen. So, yeah, that's all I can really say on that.
I think that's a good point. I think you almost then become like you know, the other, like if Fonseca started winning, it would have become a Fonseca sexual. When Jose was winning, it was a Jose sexual. You know, I agree with you. That's actually a very point. It's exactly what I am. I'm not kidding. Whatever wins, I immediately become that identity. Moving on to the next question, guys. According to William Hill, the 4 managers that are most likely to be appointed, obviously it feels like we're at this complete restart. Feels like it's all the way come back to square one, to ground zero again. But according to William Hill, the 4 managers that are most likely to be appointed in this order are Potter, Martinez, Nuno Espirito Santo, and then Ten Hag. I mean, who is your? I'm going to start with this. Who's your first choice on the list of Potter, Martinez, Santo, and then Ten Hag? And then I'm going to move on to the second question, but just you know, gauge your interest. Who's your first choice? I'm going to go to Darius here. Darius, who's your first choice amongst that list?
Well, if you look at a tweet I put ages ago, I said the first thing I said when Mourinho got sacked before the final was Potter or Ten Hag. They were my 2 choices. And I think I am sticking by that. I definitely am sticking by that. When Conte came into the fold, I was definitely for it, because I think it would have been something that would have signaled a change. I don't know if it would have happened, but I couldn't see Conte signing if there wasn't going to be change. So, but on that list, for me, it's got to be Ten Hag. I think that he's got the most credibility. I think that we've seen what he can do. I understand that he's got the machine of Ajax behind him to sort of get him into that situation. But don't forget, Ajax were winning leagues before he came. When he came, they were dominating the league and they were dominating teams. I think there was a statistic about them this season. I think they were on average taking 20 shots and conceding 6. So any team that's taking 20 shots and conceding 6, you have to play a certain way of football to kind of be able to get yourself into that situation. So for me, and football. And then also just on the case that he's not managing the Premier League and he's not proven. Look at what he did in the Champions League. Look how he dominated that Juventus team. They won 4-1. They beat Real Madrid, that same Real Madrid team that were coming off of a Champions League. It's not something to be laughed at. Over 2 legs as well. I really think that he has that credibility of European football. And if the way that you play football can dominate those teams, and I understand you've got De Jongs and De Ligt and Ziyech's, and that team is an amazing team. But if you could dominate those teams, you're doing something right, in my opinion. And I think that he could probably develop players like Skip, like Sessegnon, into very, very, very competent, even maybe elite, maybe not elite, but very, very good players that you would say, can get into this Tottenham team and can push maybe for a Champions League spot. So for me, Ten Hag, based on the way that he plays and also developing the talents into what could be very, very good players, I think he'd probably be the best option. Then second, I'd go Graham Potter.
Just quickly, just to come in here. Look, we have someone, you know, who's up past their bedtime again. You know, Mammy left the internet on. You know, he's going to be very tired in the morning. Mammy's going to be cross. Look, my advice to you is look, you know, go to bed, my man. Just turn off the internet and go to bed. You know, you Gunners aren't much better. You have Pep's Cone bitch in charge. So look, go to bed and dream of him, my man.
I was just going to say, Irish Hotspur, if you actually look at his display picture, all 3 of those players don't actually play for Arsenal anymore. So it's actually quite funny.
Look, we'll forgive him. So it's probably the first time he's had the internet turned on since 1991 or something, you know. So look, we'll forgive him. But look, everybody, there's 239 people. Make sure you do smash a like on the stream. The Harris Army. I ordered the Don Hotspur himself. I urge you to smash a like on the stream, smash and subscribe on the channel if you're new. Make sure you do subscribe to Bob Spur TV, Paxton Road TV, and Jack on Twitter. All the guys' social media links is in below description. And look, why not support the channel with a super chat too, with your views on everything else, and on who you want as the next manager. Do you want Hojbjerg as captain? And we have a lot more questions to go through. But look, on to the next person. Who wants Bob?
Yeah, of the 4, Bob, I mean, who are you thinking? Is it between Potter, Martinez, Santo, Ten Hag? Don't, consider, it's just dream scenario, Bob. It's your birthday, Bob. Who are you picking? Who are you going out to dinner with?
While this board are in place, Levy's in place, Enix in place, their lack of ambition is in place, their lack of
No, Bob, I told you, Bob, I told you it's your birthday, Bob. None of this is in there. It's just your first choice,
Candles
Bob.
out, candles out.
It's just Bob. It's just you got no worries for tomorrow. It's like those pop songs, Bob. They tell you, tomorrow's not happening. Party like it's your last night, Bob. Who's the manager that you're partying with? Who's your man, Bob? Who do you like the most?
In an ideal world, Conte. I know he's not on the 4.
No, but it's not on the 4, Bob. It's not on the 4. I need you to answer the questions. It's Kineke's answer me, Bob. Come on now.
Okay, it's hard for me to ignore the board, but I will ignore it, and I'd probably go with Ten Hag.
Brilliant, Bob. I appreciate that.
But Ryan Mason.
I love it. David, it's your birthday.
Hi, Jason.
Jason, the man. I love it.
Big old Jason.
Good to see you, Chad, Jason, as well. Good to see you, Amon. Good to see the Tottenham teacher as well. Good to see you, Mario.
Yes,
but David, it's your birthday, David. It's maybe it's the man you're bringing over for dinner. Man to meet the missus. The new Tottenham manager. You got to bring him over to the Irish Hotspurs house to get the approval first before he gets signed. Who's the manager? Who are the one that you're picking?
Yeah, well, look, I don't want Mr. Algarve, which is, that ex-Wolves manager, Nuno, Espirito Santo, or whatever you want to call him. I definitely don't want him. I don't want Hogwarts, Hotspur, Harry Potter, Mr. Expelliarmus goes. Don't want him. Then it's between Ten Hag and Roberto Martinez. Now, honestly, this is not really a question I want to answer. I prefer to be hearing a lot bigger names. I really would, like names that we've been linked with before. But if I had to pick one, like I said, it's my birthday. Why not? Go all out. I'd go Ten Hag. I'd risk it on Ten Hag. Let me be clear on this. I think if he came to Tottenham, I do not think it will work out. All the list of names, I think he has a better shot than what Mr. Belgium does. The Spanish cast-off, Roberto Martinez. Look, he can't be too bad if he's managing a team like Belgium and this and that and the other, and they're constantly ranked number 1 in the world. He can't be that bad. He managed to get Thierry Henry involved and stuff like that. But with Ten Hag, like Darius was saying, he has pulled off some big coups in the Champions League, some big results. And for me, look, if you're bringing him in, he's probably the sort of manager that I was talking about there, where maybe you bring him in with a philosophy, a style of playing, you let him bring a couple of managers in. But if I was bringing in Ten Hag, I want Ryan Gravenberch with him. He's going to be the next big centre midfielder. I want him brought in with him. And maybe you could look at maybe bringing in, who else could you take from there? I was going to say Tagliafico. He'd be a good player to bring in. I like him.
Yeah. I would say actually maybe even take one of either the Argentinian center back. I think one of them's Martinez, and do they have 2 Martinezes there or something? One of them's from Mexico and the other's Argentinian or something. But they're both brilliant. I would take them. Plenty of players from the Ajax I would take. But yeah, that was your birthday pick of the 4. Now we're moving on to the realistic. Who do you see, Daniel Levy? Yeah, what's up?
Can I just say, the only way I'd accept Roberto Martinez to come to Tottenham is if you brought Henry with him, because I'd love to see him in a Tottenham tracksuit against Arsenal, trying to get us to a win. I'd love that. Just for that. Just
That'd be hilarious. That'd be absolutely hilarious.
I just want to add one thing though. Look, no matter who we think should come in, and no matter who does end up coming in, I want to say this now. I do think, I can't stress enough, this enough. We do have to get behind whoever comes in.
Yeah.
Whether we
100%.
agree with it or not, we just have to bite our tongue and get behind that and give it our full support, because God knows there's been enough negativity around now for the last year or so,
100%.
or especially the last 5-6 months. You know, we don't need to continue bringing that into another season. Whatever manager comes in, we need to clear the air. We can still talk about Levy out, and look, no doubt he's going to give us more reasons in the transfer window to talk about him. But I can't stress this enough. No matter what manager comes in next, us fans have to get behind and try and see what he does. We don't need to be putting out streams. He's not good enough, this, that, and the other, unless it's an absolute catastrophic appointment. But we do have to get behind whoever comes in next. We have to try and let them get over this fiasco. You know, we have to try and let them get in players and get out players, and we have to try and see what direction the club's going in, because, look, nobody needs it anymore. Nobody needs it anymore. We just need a manager now 100%. To see what direction we're going in, and we just have to get behind it. Simple as.
David, I think
eighth choice. And Fonseca was 8th choice as well, and we accepted him. We were ready to accept him, weren't we? We all said, right, let's give him a chance. Point. Exactly. Let's bring him in. Let's give him a chance. We're right behind you. And when I say he, you know who I'm on about. He didn't even let that happen. You know, the Spurs had us as a fan base were ready to accept an 8th choice manager to come in, and even that failed.
I like that point. I like that point from Will. I agree with him. Yeah, I think they're the three at the back. 3-5-2/3-4-3 it covers everywhere in the pitch where you really need it, especially when we've got defensive deficiencies. If you've got an extra man there, you can really do something, and it allows your wing backs to push forward as well. So I think that's a really good comment from Will there.
Yeah, I think let me read it aloud. Big yourself up, Will, with the super chat. Really appreciate the support. And he says a 3-4-3 will allow us to not need to buy fullbacks this summer. We can focus on center backs and right wingers. 3-4-3 is the new winning trend. Yeah, I kind of agree. It's kind of the new hipster formation. Need an expert manager in 3-4-3. You do kind of need a world-class manager, I would say. But then again, what it would have been nice about Fonseca, you know, when I did my research on Fonseca, you know, becoming a Fonseca sexual overnight, he was able to do this. He was really successful at Shakhtar with the 4-2-3-1, obviously the very conventional formation that we all know very well. But then he also had plenty of success when he moved on to Roma with the 3-4-3, 3-5-2 kind of formation. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, that would be fantastic, and I really do agree with you, Will. David, I think, you know, maybe people didn't hear me right or anything. I was saying, you know, in a perfect world, it would be your birthday and you get to pick the manager. It seems like the chat seems to think it's your birthday. Maybe you can give a bit of a disclaimer to them.
Oh yeah, no. It's not my birthday till November. Don't. I know it's not my birthday till November. It's not my birthday. It's just in an ideal. Look, that was Jack's roundabout way of forcing me to answer the question, because he knows I would have deviated. I would have said no. You know, we deserve a top manager. This, that, and the other. He knows. So that was his way of forcing me to answer the question. On Will's comment, I have to say he is right. 3-4-3 is it seems to be this new hipster sort of formation, this new cool formation. And he is right. Look, if Spurs do want to go down that route, then go and get a manager that's an expert in it. Spot on, Will. And thank you so much for the super chat. Thanks for your support to the channel, man. I really, really do appreciate it, lad. I really, really do. Big yourself up, man. What a legend. And just span down Samaran. He says 3-4-3 against everything, and we conceded 5. Yeah, but that
you got Davison Sanchez at the back. Come on, man.
Yeah, on that span, man, I just want to say, like, you know, we just done it out of the blue. It's not like we rehearsed in it or practiced in it, this, that, and the other. And as well, we had Dyer and Sanchez. Although Sanchez did get a couple of our goals that night, but big up span.
He actually did, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I really do appreciate the support from the channel. Absolute legends. And if anyone else wants to get the comments in, get your questions in or your comments discussed and read by the panel, because the chat is flying. I'm going to keep trying to get everybody's comments up. But, you know, super chat is the way to go. Yeah, next question, Jacko.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously you guys were giving your very ideal kind of pick, you know, if, you know, weren't considering anything, you know, totally blind. That was the pick you just gave. Now you're considering everything. Now you're being rational. And now you're practically putting yourself in the shoes of Daniel Levy, as horrible as that sounds. You're in the shoes of Daniel Levy. Who do you see Daniel Levy picking up that for? And let me remind you, it was Potter, Roberto Martinez, Nuno Espirito Santo, and then Ten Hag as well. Who do you see Daniel Levy picking? Maybe I'll go to Bob here just to switch it up.
Ryan Mason's been lined up, guys. come. I don't know why people can't failing to see that.
You've been pushing this for a long time, mate. And I'm actually might be starting to believe it now.
Ryan Mason will be the next manager.
Bob, you can remove the tinfoil from underneath your flat cap. It's all right. People can see it from now.
Yeah, it is. It's the way it's all turned. It's leading that way. We're being linked to every single manager just so we can write them off and tick them off the box. The only one that's going to be left is going to be Ryan Mason. He's free. He's got an arsehole big enough for Levy's hand to fit up. It's going to be Mason. It's going to be Mason.
Alrighty, Bob.
I just want to say to Will Stewart, no to Stevie B playing right wing back, lad. Justify it to me, Will. Justify it.
I agree. I agree with that, mate. And that's purely going from the earlier performances in the season. Don't you think? Because he and Aurier, that Arsenal game,
Conte
played really well down the right. I mean, that Liverpool game took everything out of him. That Liverpool game, when his 2 misses kind of finished the season, and you think someone with a bit more of a tougher mentality would have got through that. But he did finish his season off. But I do believe that he can do a job on right wing back. He wouldn't be my first choice, of course not. But if we have to play him down there, I think he'd do a job because he has got that defensive mentality about him.
Yeah.
He's got a stamina about him. He's young.
But what if he made? What if, so his head went after 2 misses? What if he made 2 mistakes leading to goals and losses again? How do you think he'd bounce back from that?
That's exactly what I'm saying. He needs to be tougher mentality-wise, and a right manager could possibly do that. I don't think he'd buckle under the pressure and say a Poch or maybe a Conte, which we're not going to get in. But I think man management comes into it, and we all know what Jose's man management was last season. It wasn't the greatest, and I don't think Conte.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I really don't want to be hiding behind man management with a lot of these players anymore. We can't look. No. That's just another excuse for these players. This man management bullshit. Pay 200 grand a week. Get the fuck out there and perform. I couldn't care who your boss is. Every single one of us here go to work, and we sometimes everyone has a dickhead boss that they don't like, but they have to like it and lump and suck it up in order to pay it, so they can pay for their shopping at the end of the week, pay their rent, pay their bills, electric, whatever. You know what I mean? Put clothes on their kids' back. I don't want to hear any. And this isn't a dig at you, Bob, because I've heard this on a lot of channels. Management. I couldn't give a shit. You're paid to focus on football. Make sure you're right for the game on a Sunday. Just get the fuck out there and do it. I don't want to hear any more management style. At the end of the day, a manager comes in, puts a philosophy, and puts ideals and values in place that the players have to follow it. Now, if they're too spoiled to follow it, then get the fuck out of my club. At the end of the day, you're not doing what's best for the club. If you're going to do what's best for the club, you do what the manager wants you to do. I couldn't give a shit anymore.
100%.
So I don't want to hear any more of this man management crap. They're fucking 100%. Adults. They're full-grown men. They're men to make decisions. They can make decisions to go out and meet up with a girl or whatever else. So they can make a decision to do well and play good on a Saturday or Sunday on the football pitch. They can't keep hiding behind the manager when it suits them, but yet they can go out and fucking chase girls around the town every weekend when it suits them. You know what I mean? They don't cry about man management then. So I don't want to hear that anymore. I'm sick of it.
I don't think Bergwijn was purely down to man. I think that was down to mental toughness. But I think it would be totally. Wrong when we say that a manager has no influence over a player's mindset. For example, Mason saying to Harry Kane, "Come on, go out there and get us 3 goals today, mate," wouldn't have the same effect if Conte said, "Go out there and get me 3 fucking goals." It's a total different mind shift, different mindset.
I tell you what that comes down to. That comes down to respect and accountability.
Yeah, exactly.
Conte would drop him like a blue-ass fly, that's why.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
he would go out and do it because Conte would drop him like a blue-ass fly. It comes down to respect.
Exactly. That's why I want fucking Conte in, but it's never going to happen.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bob. I do really. We all did, Bob. We all did. Believe me, Bob. We all did.
Your fault. Why bring that up, David?
Darius, if it's the unfortunate time where I do have to ask you to put yourself in Daniel Levy's shoes. And
I have to shave my hair off and everything.
Gotta shave the hair off. Maybe maybe you have to, maybe put a little Febreze in the shoes. I bet they're a little stinky as well. And so, if let's say you're in that horrible scenario, but you're also in the mind of Levy, which is also terrible as well. Who do you see him picking? Who do you think is his number one pick? Like, who do you think is the one he's actually going for that he sees, maybe accepting his bidding, maybe, kissing his ring, whatever it may be, who's the manager of that 4? And let me remind you again, it's Potter, Roberto Martinez, Nuno Espirito Santo, and then Ten Hag as well.
So if I'm getting into my Daniel Levy mind, and the only thing that's in my head right now is that big green $ money. If that's what I'm thinking, it comes down to 1, maybe 2. So you get rid of Potter because he's at a club, he signed a contract, and you get rid of Ten Hag because he's at a club and he signed a contract. You got one guy who could potentially leave. I don't know. You don't pay any sort of compensation fees for national clubs, do you? There's none of that, is there? So
Probably
if he was to leave,
no.
he would probably just join straight away, wouldn't he?
You
Martinez, that
pay,
is.
no, yeah, you won't have to pay the national federation for anything.
So
like that.
we've got Martinez and Nuno, who are free of charge, no jobs whatsoever.
Good point.
Now, if I'm Levy,
I'm Joachim Love. Ball sniffer.
Ball sniffer as well. True. If I'm Levy, I'd probably, if Martinez won the Euros, he'll go for Martinez. If not, he'll probably go for Nuno out of the two. That's what if I'm Levy. Obviously, if it's me, no chance. But if I'm Levy,
Martinez won the Euros and Levy swooped in there and got him, that is the best PR stunt I've ever seen.
Oh, and the thing is, that's exactly what he do, because he will spin it.
I would have to give him credit if that happened.
He will spin it and he will be like, "We've just signed Euro winner Roberto Martinez, FA Cup winner Roberto Martinez," forgetting that he got relegated.
No matter what our fans think, Darius, everyone from the outside is looking in, going like, "Levy signed the lad that's just won the European Championship."
Exactly.
So people just looking at their fans be like us. Like, what are you complaining for? It'll be a genius move
and the thing is,
PR-wise.
They all forget that this guy's got one of the best strikers in the world and probably the best creator in the world doing his business for him. Do you know what I mean? So, like, this is a bit off topic, but this is why I kind of hold my reservations for Zidane a little bit, because they're very, very, very good players that you have to put into a system that works. I understand that, but De Bruyne and Lukaku, you don't have to do a lot of managing to be able to create a lot of chances with those two in your team. So I hold my reservations for those sort of managers. But yeah, like I said, if he won that Euros, like, it's a PR masterclass, like you said, David. So if they won the Euros, it's Martinez, Belgium. Sorry, and then if they don't win the Euros, Belgium, then it'll be Nuno, because, like I said, free of charge, no compensation fees whatsoever.
Kind of
a headache, man.
Even I had to delete one of the questions, but that's a brilliant answer, because that was even one of the questions. Sort of, it's like, really putting yourself in the Daniel Levy mindset. A couple of them he has to actually buy out of their contracts. A couple of them he could just sign within a day. Obviously, Daniel Levy can't sign anything within a day. It seems like all the flights that managers seem to be taking over here seem to be 2 weeks long. But yeah.
All of a sudden, there's COVID restrictions now that the managers are being signed, isn't there?
And Ukrainian vacations, you can't forget that as well. But David, you're in the shoes and in the mind of Daniel Levy. David, who do you see him signing? Who do you see maybe as his number one pick? Who do you see as the one that he sees kissing his ring?
Nice one.
Look, if I was Daniel Levy, the ideal one to kiss my hook would be Mr. Southgate, Mr. Brownose himself, FA Brownose specialist, that guy. But look, for me, I'm going to put on my Daniel Levy hat here. He's going to go for someone that's cheap, so ideally someone that will be free. So that will be Joachim Love, aka Ball Scratcher and Sniffer. That will be Eddie Howe because he's free, Zidane because he's free in the market right now, and if not, if he is looking to get someone out of a club, to be honest with you, I think the Ten Hag one is gone. I think that's long gone since the first time we got him. I don't know, Jack. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Ideally, someone that would be cheap. Ideally, someone in the free market, like I said, along with them names. I don't know, Graham Potter, aka Harry Potter, he keeps getting linked. Platform 9 3/4 or whatever you want to call it. It's absolutely ridiculous. He keeps getting linked, and I don't know. I think Daniel Levy must like him. I think he wants to learn more magic, so I think maybe he could go and get him.
Yeah, David. I mean, it's a horrible place when you're in the mind of Daniel Levy. You practically, he almost. You start to experience delusion right away.
I was getting headaches, lad. I was getting headaches.
Yeah, you're not even seeing straight. Not even seeing straight. Can't put one foot in front of the other. It's practically horrible. Yeah. So I thank you guys for putting yourself in that moment. It's almost like method acting. Really. But moving on to the next one, guys. In the last couple of days, Ian Abrahams a very reliable source, or so-called Moose on Twitter, HITC, Football London, and plenty of Italian sports media outlets have reported that Daniel Levy, so to speak, Daniel Levy has gone back to his original short list of managers and has gone back to essentially square one. And he might be going back to what he thinks is maybe Premier League quality or Premier League proven managers. And it does seem that the two likely ones are Graham Potter and Nuno Espirito Santo. If you guys had to pick between the two, who would you see best leading the dressing room and the club into mid-table obscurity and mediocrity? Who's the best one?
First of all, can I come in? Look, Daniel Levy doesn't know what the hell Premier League quality is. He keeps protecting Dyer, Winks, Davies, Lamelas, Sissoko, Aurier, players like this. He doesn't know what Premier League quality is. So I'm worried. That worries me straight off the bat. Between Nuno and Potter, oh, God, this is like shooting fish in a barrel, man. Oh, lad. Fuck it, give me Hogwarts Hotspur because it gives me a few catchy headlines. The papers would be interesting. Harry Potter, we can all dress up, go for a Harry Potter day out in Levy land, go into the stadium, start playing Quidditch on the broomstick, straight around the stand. You know what I mean? I'm sure we can get, like I said, get a platform 93 quarters in there. Yeah, fuck it, I'm all for it. Give me Expelliarmus goals over Nuno. I don't know. I just don't like his style of play. I think it's boring. It's clearly hanging there till half-time, 60, 70 minutes, and then go and see what we can make. No, I don't like that for me. So, yeah, give me Expelliarmus goals. But if he comes in, it better be raining goals like other fans told me before it would. It better fucking rain goals. Because if not, I have the list of names here that has told me about Harry Potter and Scotty Starstruck. I have a list of names when fans were arguing over the two of them to try and say who was better, two relegation candidates. It's not like they finished like 7th or 8th or 10th in the league. They finished, 18th and 17th. So, for me, I have a list of names. So if he does come in, it better fucking rain goals like they told me it was. It better go out their magic wands and wish for it. Everybody, there's 320 people watching. Make sure you do smash that like button on the stream. It really does help out with you, true algorithm. If you're new, why not help me on my push to 4K? And why not get in a super chat too, or become a channel member to help support the channel? And it guarantees your comment gets read out. The chat is flying. We're getting into the heat of battle here, the heat of discussion. So it guarantees your comment gets read out. And if you have any questions for the panel as well, it takes priority. And we have one here, big up Kuva. And then there's actually, quickly, I'm going to come back to Kuva. Brian C., he was in Newbridge yesterday. He was on holiday, this guy, right? He was in my hometown yesterday. He was letting the missus go do a bit of shopping for her birthday. He was left lonely. I said, lad, I'm at nothing. Where I come down to you, meet you for a drink, man, and have a chat and all. So I met Brian C. He's an absolute legend, a very, very nice guy as well. Mm-hmm. And big up, Brian C. I hope your holiday's going well. And I hope your missus didn't absolutely, blow your card up in Kildare Village, because that is an expensive outlet, my man. Big yourself up.
Big yourself up, Brian C. And we going back to the super chat here just a moment. Yeah, thank you, David, from Kuva99. Big yourself, Kuva. Really good to see you today in the chat. Thank you for joining us. He says Ryan Mason is unlikely. Levy would demand £30 million compensation and then haggle with himself for the next 6 months. Look, I mean, I'm not quite surprised. In a way, Daniel Levy's probably had more than one conversation with himself today already. And he's probably been haggling, maybe even like you said, apparently we never were in contact with some of the managers, David, that, we were rumored with, and supposedly maybe even Antonio Conte never even happened. Maybe he was just talking to himself for, 2 weeks. Maybe he was just learning Italian and that was what was actually happening. Who knows?
Look, what I'm going to say to you, Kuva, is maybe there is some truth to what Bob's first saying. Look, it's ideal. He doesn't have to pay Mason over the summer, bring him back in just before pre-season. Oops, I couldn't get anybody there. Let's put the puppy out again in front of everybody. It really wouldn't surprise me. It works out in Daniel Levy's favour. He saved a wage and everything over the summer. Probably let a few staff on, paternity leave or whatever during the summer, or just a bit of gardening leave or something like that. Bring everybody back in just before pre-season starts. And by the way, we couldn't get a manager in. That's hampered our transfer plans. So we're just going to have to go with the same squad again. Written all over it, Kuva. So, look, brace yourself for Ryan Mason. Anybody could be a possibility. Ronald McDonald and fucking Mickey Mouse could be in charge next week. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely, David. Absolutely. I mean, it could be Ronald McDonald, and then Ronald McDonald leading our famous Ronald McDonald as well. That would be fantastic. But
If it is Ronald McDonald, I hope he plays some football where we can turn around and say I'm loving it.
you just have to ask. He just turns around to the fans every time. Are they loving it? And they have to respond in unison. But Bob, I'm going to
brilliant.
you.
If we go 1-0 up, Bob, or 2-0 up, we can sit there and say supersize me and go for number 3. You know what I mean? It'd be brilliant, lad. The amount of fun we could have. And then we'll have Ronald McDonald sitting in the midfield as well. You know, eating French fries while he's running by people. It's going to be classic.
Oh man, definitely.
Going to have to put pockets in the shorts then, David. You know, we're going to have to put some pockets in the short because, you know, I don't know how he's going to fit the large fry. But Bob, I'm going to you here, and I'm going to say supposedly we're back at square one. Supposedly Daniel Levy is looking at his original shortlist and maybe is now, according to plenty of outlets, is maybe preferring then a manager with a bit of Premier League experience. Maybe that means just someone that might be a bit cheaper, it seems like, and also maybe free in the case of Santo. So, but or Bob, who would you pick among the two if you had to pick between, you know, Harry Potter, you know, Expelliarmus, or maybe Nuno Espirito Santo, the man with the glorious beard, good head of hair like yourself as well. You know, I feel like he'd be great. I mean, which one, Bob, if you had to pick?
Nuno Santa Claus, I'd go for purely and simply. I think he's finished higher in the league than Potter. He's got a bit more experience in the Premier League than Potter. Remember when he played the 3 at the back? He played the 3 at the back system, and he was very good at it. It's where Doherty came to the fore and to our attention as well. And it's a shame he changed to the back 4 last season and stuck with it. But for me, maybe it's because I've seen more of Wolves. I've got family in Wolverhampton, so I go around there, and whenever I go around there, there's always a Wolves game on, and it's been like that for 20 odd years now. So they've probably got a bit more of a soft spot in me. You know, Steve Ball was one of my first ever strikers I looked up to alongside Gary Lineker. So it was for me it'd be Nuno. Purely and simply, I think he's more of a Spurs fit. Then again, I just think purely because of the Premier League experience and the higher Premier League finishes.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, it's hard to say because sometimes, you know, I do get kind of lured into the school of magic, you know, possibly, you know, that this team could project itself back into top 4 with just a bit of the wave of a wand. So I do kind of tend towards Potter, but I'm really interested in what Darius has to say. If you are, you know, believing the rumors, Darius, and supposedly he's going back to the Premier League, maybe shortlist, and that Premier League shortlist, the most likely ones do seem to be between Graham Potter and Nuno Espirito Santo. Who's the one that you think would be the best to lead the team maybe into some sort of mid-table mediocrity, obscurity? You know, who's the best one?
Well, I mean, if it's inevitable mid-table mediocrity, then I'm going to have to go for Harry Potter personally. If it's between Nuno Santa Claus and Harry Potter, if it's inevitable mid-table mediocrity, then I'd rather watch us do badly and play good football, if that makes sense. I don't want to do what happened. I don't want to be in a situation where it's last year where we are just not enjoying the football, not enjoying the club, and then it's like it just couples together and it's just the results aren't coming. Obviously, when we were winning, it was great in November. As soon as the results dried up, the football's not good enough. The club's in a mess, and it's like it's just bad. At least, and I know this is a very, very small saving grace, but at least if we're playing decent football, I can at least say, okay, I'm watching my team play. We're playing all right. We may be shit, but at least we're playing all right. That is the only saving grace. And that's only saying that if we're going to obviously finish mid-table. Whoever will do better, I don't know. I genuinely don't know who would do better out of the two because they both do play a similar formation, but the style of football is different. I would say that Nuno is more pragmatic than Graham Potter, but I'd say that Graham Potter is more tactical than Nuno. I think that Graham Potter would be able to play more formations and play maybe different styles of football as opposed to Nuno. Yeah. So, if it's inevitable mid-table mediocrity, I'm gonna have to go for Harry Potter. For me, I'm gonna have to go for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. That's why I definitely agree with you. I'm just gonna admit I definitely agree with you there, David. You know, I just admitted to maybe accepting Harry Potter into the bloodstream, into the veins. If supposedly the rumors are correct, if supposedly according to all these outlets, Daniel Levy's gone back to square one. He's looking at maybe somebody with a bit of Premier League experience. and that the two most likely candidates do seem to be between Nuno Espirito Santo and Harry Potter himself. David, who are you backing?
When have we come to this situation? Honestly, when have we come? When
Oh,
when is a club like Tottenham Hotspur come to the situation where we're talking about Nuno Espirito Santo and a guy who take the piss out of him on a weekly basis? Oh, just give me Potter, Harry Potter. The movies are good. At least I can sit there and enjoy them. You know, I can
mate, he's
sit
got a
there every
master's
week
in
with a
social
scar on my
sciences. He's got a
face.
master's in social sciences. You'll love that, won't you?
No, look, yeah, I'll hire a little Ron Weasley to walk around with me, and you know what I mean. Why not? Why not? You know, let's get the full experience in. Expelliarmus goals. Will made a good point. You know, look, you see what he done with Jimenez, Neves, players like that. Very good point. Yeah, I get it, but for me, I just think he's a bit too pragmatic, and I do think we kind of need to move away from that now, and probably move forward. And Potter would fit Tottenham's DNA more. Well, yeah. Sorry,
There's
I can't
also
say that. I'm embarrassed. Sorry, I apologise. I should never use that word. It's stupid. The Tottenham way. You know, he's more suited to the Tottenham way, the passing, the push and run football. So for me, yeah, I'd probably bring in Hogwarts Hotspur. Why not? Let's go for it. The papers would be mad. Sky Sports News will have a field day, and who knows? You know, we might get a new Amazon documentary over to try and pay for a centre back next summer as well.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too that maybe needs to be said, and maybe not a lot of people know this about Nuno, but Nuno actually, I believe, had like a real backing actually at the case of Wolves. I believe the owners or even the director of football there or something like that, he's even like really good friends with and had like met at a nightclub at one point, like just years before, and they like collaborated together. And that's even kind of partially how he even got the job, even was just because he kind of knew somebody on the inside and he got plenty of backing. They had some system there where they got that agent. I don't think it was George Mendes.
It's George Mendes, yeah.
Yeah, it was George Mendes. And George Mendes, he would give them the cut price fees on certain players, but also give them the very expensive ones in the case of Fabio Silva. But, you know, when you really think about it, then Nuno Espirito Santo, with what he's achieved, you know, I think he's had great moments there, but he also had plenty of backing, you could say, maybe at Wolves to do decently.
Yeah, he has.
And
he got
in the case of
Neves
Graham
in the
Potter,
championship, for
not the
fuck's sake.
case.
Piss off, Danny.
But I was just going to say, in the case of Graham Potter, and it really pains me to say this as well, David, that's not the case. You know, Graham Potter, maybe he is, you know, again, it's hard for even the words to come out of my mouth. He's maybe earned it a bit more, David. He's maybe earned it a bit more. Maybe he just has, you know, a bit more. He's done maybe more with less, you could say. Maybe he's done maybe
he has, but honestly, I feel like I need to go and wash my mouth out. Some of the stuff
David,
I just said there.
no, my mother, she's got the
stuff
soap.
I'm paying people for. You know, the DNA and Harry Potter and all the. Honestly, we need to move on, Jack. New question,
New question, David.
I believe I said some of that. I'm getting dizzy.
I got the bar soap ready for you, David. I got the bar soap ready.
We'll just take this super chat from Danny Kiriakou quickly. He says, big up, Buttes, and Bob put some pants on. That's where he was going, Danny. That's why he turned off the screen. Let's go and get the pants. Let's go and get the pants. Big yourself up. And a comment here from Brian C. He says, it was brilliant to meet the Irish Hotspur lads. A total legend. Quote from the man himself. We will have our day, Brian. We will. One day, we will have our day. And that's what keeps me going. You know, that's what keeps me optimistic. We will have our day one day. I'm a firm believer we go through all this shit because there's something nice and shiny at the end of the dark tunnel. And that's the Champions League or Premier League. We will have our day.
And
everybody just hang in there. Stick with me, every other content creator and the club all the way through these bad times. Let's ride it out together. Let's see it out together. And then we will have our day and we'll move forward. So come on, Spurs. Let's bring a bit of positivity around here. That's what we need.
Love that.
I love it, Dave. I love it, Dave. And, you know, this is maybe, you know, you could bring some positivity to this. Maybe you could bring a joke. Maybe you could just bring some brilliant insight. But I am going to come to Bob Spur here. And so, Bob, you know, putting you under the pressure with this question, is there a deeper reason for why we've been linked with every manager, it seems like, under the sun? Is it just Daniel Levy interviewing every candidate that seems to have a pulse, Bob? Or is it really just maybe there's actually a deeper sadistic reason maybe possible for why he seems to be just in contacts or in links with every manager that exists?
He doesn't know, well, Spurs don't know how to work the PR. It's been a PR disaster, one after another. The journalists are quite happy to go out there and report us and attach us with every single manager under the sun, and not be afraid of getting it wrong, because they know what a joke of a club we are. We are an embarrassment. They'll go out and link any manager with Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, knowing full well it doesn't matter if we don't get them, because that's what Spurs do. They get linked to every single manager, and it doesn't matter if we get proved wrong, because hey, the finger will be pointed at Spurs, not us. It's down to Levy. It's down to the mentality he's instilled. It's down to the Enix lack of ambition that they've instilled. And like I say, the PR, whoever does the PR at Spurs need to get sacked, because there's no coherent positive news, and it's like negative. It's just constant negativity, and the timing's all wrong. So no. It's down to Levy and Enoch.
Yeah, Bob, I really agree with you there. But do you really feel like is it just poor PR? Is Levy fully responsible for the poor PR, like you were saying?
Yeah.
That maybe, and I think you made a good point there. Just want to reiterate, and maybe you could elaborate on it for just a couple of seconds. But I think you made a good point there when you said that maybe even part of the journalists, or maybe even larger media outlets, they see that we're supposedly linked with some manager, but then they maybe really pounce on it just because we've been in such a PR disaster that, it's who cares? You're kicking down a club when it's down practically. Maybe you want to elaborate on that further. I just think that was a good point.
Yeah, I think it's news. Us being associated with a new manager is news now. If a manager became available and if we weren't linked to him, that'd be even bigger news. But the fact we are linked with every single manager, left, right, and centre, is news. And of course, they want to be first, and they want to be right as well. So no, it's the image that Levy and Enoch have created, and not unfortunately, it's down to them. No one else, but down to them.
Interesting. Yeah, really well said, Bob. Plenty of good points in there. Nigel Gates with the $5 Canadian super chat. Pick yourself up, Nigel. Really good to see it today. Good to see you in the chat as well. He says, ex-Spurs players doing punditry on TV. Get one of them in to do the job. They can't do worse. I mean, yeah, at this point, Jurgen Klinsmann just seems to make more sense every day. And I think who was it, David? Was it Philip Brady? Was it Philip Brady or Brad Matthews? I forget. I think it was Brad Matthews sent in a super chat the other day. He was saying, am I becoming delusional by thinking Jurgen Klinsmann is making sense? A couple of days ago, I was saying, you're delusional. Now I'm thinking I'm actually where Brad Matthews was a couple of days ago. So I'm right behind you, Brad. I think we're going down the same path here. So yeah, maybe some ex-Spurs players might do the thing, but Darius is shaking his head because he's a wiser man than me.
Just quickly. And Nigel, I'm getting to that point. I'll be honest with you. I'm getting to that point. If a lot of professionals want to come together, form a team, take it over, I want to have a crack, give it to them. I'm at that point now. Look, I still do believe we have to care. We have to care who our next appointment is. But if these guys want it and they want to crack, give it to them. Big up Nigel Gates. I really do appreciate it. Look, I know someone put out there the other day, about super chats and this, that, and the other, and that don't agree with it. What I will say is that some people need them to survive, to keep the channel going and keep putting out the content at the rate they do and stuff like that. So don't be fooled by someone who puts out a 10-minute video every once in a while. You know what I mean? And that's all he does. Don't be fooled by someone like that. A lot of these channels do rely on your support, and big yourselves up, and I really do appreciate it. Harris Army, you've been wonderful to me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well said, David. And so, Darius, I'm going to you here. I mean, is there a deeper reason for maybe why we've been linked with every manager that seems to have a human pulse, Darius? Or is there maybe a deeper sadistic reason, maybe why Levy wants this to be the case? Or is it maybe what Bob was alluding to earlier? How do you feel about this? Why are we being linked with every manager that seems to exist?
See, I would have said before the Conte news, I would have said this is just a case of Spurs being Spurs in the media. And like you said, Jack, us getting beaten up while we're down. And it's a case of, obviously, if you see turmoil happening, that it's going to attract views and you're going to get views from that. So why would you not report on that? But then, you see stuff like Conte happening. You see how far that gets into negotiations. And then they pull out like the day before or day after season ticket renewals happen. You kind of think to yourself, are you actually taking the piss, or are you actually really doing this to kind of like get at these fans. And I think to myself, maybe they are, because I can't imagine in any, like you said, David, any PR person's head, anybody who's working in PR, I can't imagine this being good whatsoever. I know you've got the saying any publicity is good publicity, but I can't see how any of this is doing anything positive for Tottenham whatsoever. Even if we're getting a bunch of views on YouTube and a bunch of clicks to do it, I just don't see how this is positive for us. Yeah. So it just seems like the incompetency has now been shown and brought to the front, and we can all see it happening live on our screens and in the flesh. And now we're just basically watching it untail. And unfortunately, that's all it is to me. That's all it is to me. I can't see this is. I don't think this is Levy and Tottenham doing anything to kind of further create more publicity. But at the same time, they're the reason why it's happened, because they don't know what they're doing. They've brought in Paratici, and again, I'll say Paratici. I didn't see any rumors before the Conte thing. They've brought in Paratici. They've been linked with managers. They've gone back to managers. They've been linked with people who don't even manage. It's just a mess. It's a genuine mess, and it's only like this in the media because we can all see it now, and they haven't got anywhere to hide because we've not had a manager for 60 days. So that's my opinion. I just think it's just open for us to see. That's the only reason why they've been able to keep it very well. I'm very impressed actually that they've been able to keep all this chaos under the wraps. But now, like I said, we can all see this is happening in front of us. So yeah, they can't do anything about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, Darius, I think that's a brilliant answer. But I do wish, Darius, they were doing this on purpose. I do wish they were doing this sadistically, because then that would just probably make me rest easier at night.
Yeah.
Just when you're telling me, which actually makes the most sense. But if you're telling me that it's just gross incompetence, then it just makes me angrier, because if it were done sadistically, if Levy were evil, that would actually weirdly probably make me rest easier. I don't know about you guys.
I completely agree with you, mate. Agree with you.
And so, but then I gotta end with David. I gotta end with the Don. But yeah, let me take this super chat from the legend Brian C first, the man that's been very generous over the weekend, not only to the missus but to himself with David. And he says, lads, do you think there will be someone in place when our players come back from the Euros? Would it be a disaster if not? Players in disbelief. That's an interesting question. Maybe I'll go to the panel here. David, how would you like to answer this to Brian C? That's a really good question. With the players being shocked?
It doesn't look good. Look, a manager should come in. He should already have a feel of the club before these players are coming back. He should already, kind of be looking into a lot of things in order players coming in, this, that, and the other. His system, getting everything set up, what values and ideals he wants to put in place and everything else. To rush someone in already, a week or two behind pre-season, it's not good, because he has no time to install that. He's going straight on the training pitch trying to get these players fit. So there's no time to install that. And it would be a disaster, Brian, especially Harry Kane. Think about this. You're Harry Kane. If England do get knocked out, and he doesn't score, he's coming back already disillusioned from the Euros. The last thing he needs is being disillusioned with Tottenham Hotspur on top of that, even though he probably already is. But the last thing he needs is be disillusioned with Tottenham Hotspur in the direction they're going in on top of that. So purely for a PR perspective, it'd be an absolute disaster as well. I can't stress enough, we need the manager in before these players get back from the Euros and before pre-season. Pre-season is in 2.5 weeks. It's not that long around. It's only around the corner. So, someone in there needs to fucking, wake up and start doing this with a bit of urgency. And big up, Brian C. I really appreciate the support, my man.
No, absolutely. Big yourself up, Brian C. And so, David, I come to you, last person for this question. Is there a deeper reason for maybe why Levy is connected with every manager under the sun, every manager that has a pulse? Is he doing it, on purpose? Is he just that evil, just to make us practically go crazy? Or is it maybe what Darius might be alluding to? It's just that much of incompetence on his part?
Look, first of all, I have to say a lot of it is incompetence on Tottenham's part. What I do want to say is there's two people to blame here, right? So, look, the media put stuff out there, especially likes of Sky Sports and all. You have to remember they have Sky Bet, this, that, and the other. So, whenever they put out a link, they're putting out a bet to go with it, right? So, Tottenham's next manager, next thing they put a new list of managers out there, have your bet, whatever. So, you have to understand, and betting in football the betting industry is bigger than football. It pumps money into football. It's huge.
Yeah.
So make no mistakes. They look after that side of it as well, Sky Sports. Honestly, it's probably got to the point where now the Sky Sports News is just feeding Sky Sports Bets. That's all they probably use it for. That's probably the point it's got to. But at the same time, Daniel Levy hasn't helped himself because he's in football long enough to know you can't leave this go on for 60 odd days. You know, you can't leave because all it's doing is just fueling the papers, fueling the likes of Sky Sports, you know, fueling everybody like that, just to keep writing stories, put different links out there and see which one people thinks looks best, and that's the one they hook onto. He has to stop it. But, and I have no doubt about this, that Levy did let the content patch thing slip out for the season ticket renewals. That is on him. I firmly blame him for that. He came out in his interview and he said, what was it? That, you know, we'll never believe it until it comes from the club. But at the same time, we'll then come out and be honest to your season ticket holders, the ones that you so claim you need back in the stadium to fill it week in, week out. Come out and be fucking honest with them. We'll start going into a new era on an honest foot and say, look, I know season ticket renewals are up, but Conte's not true. He's not true.
There's too much
smoke. And I'm going to be honest with you before you decide whether you want to renew them or not. And this is the situation. Fans would have been happy with that. But it was so obvious he allowed it because Friday morning they were quashed as soon as the date was finished. It was quashed and was never heard of again. You know, it was stupid reasons. Oh, 3 stars, this, that, and the other. I have no doubt he lured them to the table. And then you purposely put roadblocks in there. Just was never going to get it done over the line. And it's a bit of both. It's a bit of both. It's a bit of the media and the likes of, you know, all the betting companies and all. They have huge, you know, profits off this. But the longer this goes on, the more stories go out there, the more links. And Daniel Levy uses it. Look, at the end of the day, they're all elite. The elite own football clubs, the elite own media. They all use each other to be able to make more and more money off teams. And it's a combination of the two of them. And we have to remember this. As much as we do want to blame Levy, Levy is 100% at fault for everything that's happening at this football club. You know what I mean? And he's 100% at fault for all the rumours that have come out. He's 100% at fault for letting it go on this long. But we also do have to kind of look at what's true and what's not true because, like I said, the mainstream media, the elite use the elite own the mainstream media and they use each other to be able to make money and make profit, and that's how they stay rich.
Yeah, absolutely, David. Absolutely, David. And Nigel Gates in here with yet again another super chat.
That was a mic drop moment, to be honest. I feel like going to bed after that.
You're spot on, mate. You're spot on, honestly.
I didn't know how to take it, David. I just, took it in stride. It was absolutely beautifully stated. Nigel Gates with another super chat, though, and he says, the longer this goes on, the tougher it's going to be to get another manager. We're becoming a joke. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Nigel, even like managers that might even be easy to get, the longer it takes, maybe even the more they might even just say no, just because they don't want to be embarrassed for maybe the next job they would have after us. So yeah, I completely agree with you, Nigel. I mean, no matter who we get, it's just going to be tougher and tougher the longer it goes by. Absolutely, Nigel. And big yourself 100%. Up for the super chat. Yeah,
100%. Look, Nigel, the thing is, it's bad when an Everton fan tweets out, can Tottenham and Everton become one club so that we can just be laughed at together? When Everton, the tin pot toffees, are tweeting us, thinking they're on the same level as us, it's worrying and we're laughing stock. Nigel, everyone across Europe is laughing at us and it's just not right and it's not fair. But look, we'll go through these times and there will be better times ahead. Everyone's stick and roll with it. Roll with the punches. Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. And so, David, I'm going to move on to the next question here. And it's just maybe in kind of, consider the last thing, just the last question, we've been linked with every manager under the sun. So it's kind of in relation to that. And it's just, what do you make of Levy's practically complete dismissal of the report and news surrounding all the managers that we've been supposedly speaking with in his little video to the fans? If you remember right, he was saying, we've been supposedly linked with all these guys, but, only listen to Papa Levy. That's the only person you're supposed to listen to. And he says, I must have had about 30 names from fans. Some of the individuals that have been reported in the media that have apparently rejected us, we haven't even spoken to, he says. Until something is made official, that is the only things fans ought to believe. Who are we supposed to believe then, Darius? Are we supposed to believe the major media news outlets? Are we supposed to, or David wants to come in.
We'll go to Bob. Let Bob take this first because, Bob is up early for work and everything else in the morning. He does have to dash off his events.
Who do we believe, Bob? Who do we believe? Do we believe Sky Sports? Do we believe Daniel Levy when he talks to us every 2 years? What is it? Who do we believe?
Well, if we didn't have an interviewer who actually had his questions written down by Levy, my next question would have been, can you categorically tell us that we have not spoken to anyone? because he's like you say, mate. There was no denial there. It was like he actually chuckled. It was like,
Some of them,
not even spoken to him. How silly is that? You know, it's not fucking funny. It's not funny. It's fucking embarrassing. You're all chuckling there, giggling to yourself. So, look how silly it is. Yeah, we'll get a fucking manager then. It's absolutely pathetic. And you know, never mind managers. He had a small opportunity for the first time to actually put to bed or say something about the disappointment of the fans for the ESL. Of course, he's not going to say something like that. He's not going to address that.
But
it was all about.
He's accusing Bob, right? He's accusing the media outlets, right? He's saying like they're turning crumbs, right? They're turning crumbs into bread. They're turning crumbs into a full dinner. Do you think they're doing that? Do you think they're doing that?
Yeah, of course. Because that's the club. That's the club's image at the moment. That's what he's led all the journalists
right.
to believe. That's where we are. Yeah, that's who we are. You see him for manager free. Oh, I bet Tottenham are going to be linked to him. Let's write a story up. It's the domain now. It's the thing to do. Which manager can we get fucking linked to today and write a fucking story about it and earn some money off it? That's it. It's just going to be like that. And as for Paramatushi, he's going before the 1st of July. I'm telling you now, he's going before the 1st. There's already whispers about them two singing from a different hymn sheet and the whole Gattuso thing. You know, was it Levy? Was it Gattuso? Was it Levy? Was it Paramatushi? Was it Levy? Was it Paramagogo? You know, who was it? Who the fuck was it? I don't give a shit. If it was Paramatutu, then he's fucked up. And if it was Levy, then he's obviously given Paramagogo no fucking authorization whatsoever. It's a shit show already, and it's not even been officially announced. I'd put my money on. I'd put 50 quid on him going before the 1st of July, before he's officially announced. For I don't know, breaking down, working relationships breaking down or something like that. We've seen it with managers. We've seen it with players all our fucking life. It's going to happen with the director of football. Director of football, by the way, means director of fuck all. DOF. Yeah. So
definitely.
It's director of fuck all.
Before we do let you off, do you want to plug your channel and tell people where they need to get over and subscribe, man?
Yes. Bob Spurs TV. Doing 9 at 9 tomorrow on Tottenham away, and then I'll be doing big up, Ramsey. And then I'll be doing 4 in the Wall on Saturday night. 4 or 5. I call it 4 in the Wall, but there's always like 20 people who turn up. But and that's just a casual sit back, talk about football, Spurs, non-Spurs, England. So I'll be doing that Saturday night. But that's it's Spurs content with a chilled out vibe. Probably seeming pretty chill today.
I want to see I want to see if that actually is a thing, mate. Spurs content with a chilled vibe. Is that even possible? Is that even possible?
Well, if I tell you the last stream, I'd done half of it without my trousers on, just my pants on. Basically, this just show how we let loose.
Don't let loose too much. Don't let loose too much.
No.
I encourage everybody, make sure you do get over, check out Bob Sport TV. You know, like I said before, he provides the thumbnails for these shows. You know, he's always, not only me, I can speak for everybody on this. He's always more than willing to get on everybody's channel, and anytime he's asked, he's an absolute legend. And he is on the big push for 1K. I'm going to do my goddamn best to help to try and get him there. He fully deserves it. The Harris Army,
I'll still be listening.
The channel is in the description below. I'm sure Will be kind enough to throw it in here as well into the chat for you guys to get over and smash or subscribe on it. Big up, Bob. Appreciate you, and thank you very much for tonight, my man.
Big up, guys. Love you. See you. I'll be listening in anyway. I'll put a comment in.
Appreciate it, Bob. Appreciate it, my man. What an absolute legend. Look, before we do get on to answering the questions, guys, 304 years. Make sure you do smash that like button. Make sure you do smash the subscribe on the channel. If you're new, I am on the big push for 4K. Make sure you follow Jack and Darius, aka Paxton TV. The links for their channels and everything else is in the description below. Make sure you follow them. And of course, don't be afraid to put in a super chat, you know, with your opinions, your views. And plus, it's a great way to help support the channel, help me sit here and keep pushing out this full time. And, you know, it's just like I said, it's just a great way to help keep supporting. And you know, keep helping me grow along the way. So big yourselves up. But look, Jack, let's get back into it. Oh, yeah.
Let me take this super chat first from Will Stewart. And he says, with deals PSG are making, why would Poch come back? Look, I completely agree with you, Will. Yeah. With Hakimi, looks like Hakimi is practically a done deal there. That would just be an absolutely sensational move. I think there are plenty of Sergio Ramos is also supposedly maybe coming through the door as well.
Donnarumma and Wijnaldum.
Donnarumma, right, has already been done, and Wijnaldum's already been done. Wijnaldum even practically sabotaged from Barcelona as well. So, I mean, it just seems like Poch is staying. And to be honest, the whole idea that he's still asking to leave, it does seem a little ridiculous at this point.
Very funny.
Yeah. So Darius seems to be in agreement there.
I agree with Will. Let's forget about Poch. It's not happening. Look at the players they're bringing in. They're gearing up to back them and go at full till next season. So let's just forget about Poch. And Will Stewart also throwing Bob's link to his channel in there. Will, feel free to throw yours in as well, man. You're an absolute legend. Anytime we need a link, put in there. So feel free to put yours in about 5 or 10 minutes. Just give people a chance to help Bob Spur, my man. And big up for the super chat, Will. I really do appreciate the support, my man. I really do. I really do.
Yeah, and so going back to the question, though, going to Darius here. And, Daniel Levy, at the end of that little quote, Darius, he says, until something is made official, that is the only things fans have ought to believe, right? And so who are we supposed to believe then, Darius? Are we supposed to believe Sky Sports? Are we supposed to believe Ali Gold? Are we supposed to believe Daniel Levy, Papa Levy? Or is it both? Or is it Daniel Levy feeding lies? I mean, who are we supposed to believe then?
Honestly, I don't know, I'll be real with you. If it was just like ITKs and like journalists who weren't even verified, like tweeted sort of news, the sort of shit that you wake up in the morning, you search a player's name with Spurs on Twitter and you hope to find an article that can give you the hope of signing the player. If they were links like that, I would be okay with that because I see that shit all the time. But when you've got Alistair Gold, who's on his day off saying, I'm on my day off, but we look like we're close to signing Conte. And then 2 days later, he says, after that shit show, we look like we're signing Fonseca. That to me is not just bullshit rumors from the media. That to me is you making an offer and actually getting into negotiations with this person. And then as we've seen, either not committing or pulling out because you want to go after a racist, homophobe guy who didn't even really last more than 2 years in any club. So I don't really want to hear it personally. Like I said, I just think that's bullshit, to be honest. I just think if the news wasn't, like I said, as prominent and not even just Conte and Fonseca, but the Poch rumors, the Ten Hag rumors, we got told that we had a meeting with Ten Hag and it was us that wasn't really feeling him. Are you crazy? Like, are you actually crazy? I don't really want to hear that the whole, don't believe everything in the media. Because if it was that, then like I said, we would either not be linked with anyone or the links would not be as prominent and credible as they are. So, I'm sorry. I think that's bullshit to me. I genuinely think that's bullshit.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I mean, that's a good distinction there because I do agree with you. Even like for, like my little club, Air to Berlin, when I watch them, like any links that I look up, I kind of just wait till it's something of actual like real consequence of that they're actually linked with. But I know what you mean because a little club like that, I see the stupidest of rumors, like the craziest of blogs, like what players coming in. So I know exactly what you mean. I know exactly.
Like if you had a Honigstein or a CF Bayern, do you know what I mean? If it was one of those guys reporting that, you would 100% say, okay, that might be a lot more true than I thought. But I don't really want to hear it from Levy. I think that the longer you take, the worse it looks. And if you keep making excuses up, it's just going to look even worse if you don't get in a decent manager. So yeah.
Yeah. Great answer. David. David, who are we supposed to believe, David, who are we supposed to believe? Is it the journalist turning crumbs into bread? Is it Daniel Levy, Papa Levy, who comes and speaks to us every 2 years? Who are we supposed to believe, David, on these manager rumors? Are we supposed to just wait till it's practically signed and everything? The picture's done, they go out to dinner. What are we supposed to believe, David? Do we just have to wait until it's done, or can we maybe jump on the next train of whoever we're rumored with? Who are we supposed to believe, David?
I've gone to point. I don't believe that now until I officially see them sitting there at a press conference. It's gone to that point. But like I said, look, they all work together to create so much of the rumor mill anyway, so that you don't know who to believe. Look, it takes two to tango at the end of the day. It's both of them. It's from the media side. It's from the agent side. Agents who wants to move players to get better contracts. And it's from the club chairman sides as well. People leaking stuff to the press. Put this out there. Put that out there. It's a combination of everybody. And the only ones benefiting from it is them. That's it. They're the only ones benefiting from it. You know, they all get a slice of the pie. They all get a slice of pie from the gambling companies. Put this out there, put that out there, get people over to gamble. It's all about the gambling in football now. You know, that's where all the money is now. You know, you can do it worldwide. There's so many different companies. You look at games now. You'd see over 500-600 clips of gambling, of just telling people to gamble or a gambling site alone. You know what I mean? It's on sponsors. It's on the state stuff around the side of the stadium. Everything. They all do it to create money for themselves, to be able to keep this thing going. And for me, yeah, look, it has to be all of them. Look, if it wasn't true, then why not come out and say it's not true? Like the thing is with Daniel Levy, you can't use the media when it suits you, and then then berate it when it suits you,
right?
Because it doesn't suit your agenda. Like me personally, whoever's in charge of PR at Tottenham needs to lose their job. Right? They're allowing players to speak in the press that should never speak, like Dyer, you know, players like that. Doherty was shit all season, plays one good game against Leicester. Oh, let's push him out in front of the media. Let's get him to answer this Jose question. No bullshit. Oh, Daniel, you're under a bit of criticism. Yeah, come on in. We'll do this bullshit interview. Put it out there. You know what I mean? And fans will be happy again. And even if they're not, tell them to suck it up. They're big boys. You know what I mean? That's it. The thing is with the interview, it was an absolute joke, Daniel Levy's interview. It should never happen. I'm not being funny. They probably sat there for an hour. They probably had lunch together, opened up a bottle of wine. You know, let's have a laugh and a joke. Let's try and interview together. Here's the questions, Daniel. You know, prepare your answers and we'll film it and put it up. That's what it was. You know, it was a big love fest. Daniel Levy got the questions well in advance. It was so softy. You know, why not grab, you know, a content creator or a journalist or someone like that? Why not put them there and let them answer the questions? And they won't, because Daniel Levy will have to he wouldn't have the answers. He would not have the answers. That's why he wants to control the narrative here, and that's what he's trying to do. And look, he can control the narrative all he wants. At the end of the day, too many people have seen through his ways. He's not totally at fault for all the manager news. We have to make that clear. He's not totally at fault. Like I said, with the agents and you know, the media and the betting companies and everything else, it's a big combination. It's a big combination. As far as the blame, I'd probably say 70% to like agents, media, betting companies, 30% Daniel Levy. But he doesn't get a pass on this because he used it when he wanted for the season tickets, and that's the problem. And then comes out and says, "Oh, we'll never believe what's in the media until it's announced by the club." Honestly, I was frothing. I was like, "You sack of fucking shit." You know what I mean? Why didn't you come out and be an honest man? You want to sit here and do an interview? Why didn't you do it before the season tickets were up for renewal? Why didn't you do it then? Because it didn't suit you, because you had dollar signs in your eyes. Fans are going to fall for it. They're going to renew the tickets. And that's it. He won. We allowed him to win. And he puts out a bullshit interview 2 weeks after or a week after. You know what I mean? Oh, and not only did he just put out his own interview, it was put out there with a Fonseca again, you know, so that I've done my interview, but don't look here. Let's talk about, or not Fonseca, Paratici. Let's talk about Paratici. You know what I mean? It's honestly, it's a joke from top to bottom. And yeah, it's everybody's fault. Look, they make millions of pounds off this a year. Millions of pounds. That's why Sky can dedicate so much to the transfer window, transfer deadline day, have a person outside every Premier League club. Because they're all in it together. The betting companies, the journalists, the agents, they're all in it together.
Yeah, absolutely, David. I mean, to be honest, even with William Hill being, you know, our main betting sponsor, it does even seem kind of funny that, you know, we're looking at whatever managers that they think we're rumored with. It almost seems right. A bit of self-gain. It almost seems like almost maybe a conflict of interest, maybe, but who knows? But I completely agree with you.
Sorry,
yeah.
I just need to address this from Phil Bennett. To be fair, not many Premier League chairmen speak openly to the media, not excusing any interview though. No, Phil, look, I'm going to be fair and honest with you. I'm not going to berate you. I'm not going to pull the hair off you or slap the tits off you, whatever, you know what I mean? But what I will say is that's one way of looking at it. But the other way of looking at it, Phil, you tell me what other chairman in the Premier League has come out to that extent to say why they can't do things for the club, players, manager, whatever. Name me what chairman has come out to that extent. The reason why he came out and done that is because he got his planning application for Levy land, and he already had his excuse preempted for that. So when that came through, you know, his excuses are already out there in the media. Oh, well, we can't do this because of this money, that money. No other Premier League chairman has gone to that length. I've never seen it. Gone to that length to say, well, we can't sign players. Why the money's not there? You know, why we can't get in a manager and blame everybody else but himself. I've never seen any chairman do that but Mr. Levy. So
not to mention he's the highest paid chairman as well.
Sorry?
He's the highest paid chairman as well in the Premier League.
That's
so
it. Yeah, highest paid chairman as well, Philip. You know, so there you are. Look, you have your way of looking at it, I have my way of looking at it. But personally, I think my way is correct.
Yeah, and to be also, David, I mean, he's one of the only chairmen in the Premier League that didn't come out with a video to apologize to the fans over the ESL as well. So he didn't have any transparency with that. So, you know, he only speaks
Actually,
about what he...
you know what? Now that you said that, it's just fucked me off even more. That's the thing. He couldn't give a shit about any of us. Right? This was never supposed to go down this route. I want to avoid this Levy thing today because there's so much of it out there. I want to avoid it. But honestly, I can't help it now. That's just fucked me off even more. The thing is, you know, come out when people are afraid of losing their club. The working man sport was being taken away from them. You know, and Danny Levy pissed all over them. He couldn't come out with an interview then. He wouldn't even come out and speak to any fans. He hid. He went over to Daddy Lewis in the Bahamas, right? You know, now why not do an interview then? Because he doesn't care about the working man. He wants the prawn sandwich brigade there. He wants people that can pay, that'll go for a 5-course meal before the game. You know, spend money on drink all day and then go and watch it. That's what he wants. He doesn't want people like me, an ordinary working class lad who goes over there, you know, has a few beers, gets into the stadium, sings his lungs out, you know what I mean, and leaves again. He doesn't want someone like me because I'm not going to sit there and spend 400 quid in a club shop. I'm not going to sit there and spend, you know, 40 pound for a dinner. Yeah. I'm going to go to the chicken shop club across the road, get me snack box or whatever, and off I go home. He doesn't want that. You know what I mean? But he found time to come out and get his excuse in the way before planning the application. But when it came to, you know, us risking losing our club, he wouldn't come out in front of the media. So now he is a sack of shit. At the end of the day, he's just a lying sack of shit. That's it.
Yeah. Absolutely, David. And David, you know, I'm actually glad that you got that out because that was practically the last question, maybe, you know, in relation to Levy and maybe the manager. So honestly, beautifully put, beautifully timed. Well done, David. Honestly, credit to you. And Darius, maybe before I move on to the next one, Darius, do you have any, you know, little, you know, anything they need to say to Daniel? You know, any kind of regurgitations of anything that you need?
I'll say this. I wasn't, and I'm not that sort of person to kind of hate for no reason, but, and I will always give chances. But you know what? After this, well, after I would say Jose was sacked, I genuinely, what's he put here?
Oh, sorry, this is brilliant.
Kuba 99. Kuba 99. He even had the belt for the super chat the other night, right, David? He had the belt for the super chat the other night. Kuba's a legend. Big yourself up, Kuba. He says, David, you're so ungrateful. Which other chairman can offer a skywalk event of spot the manager from 50 meters above the ground?
Not only that, Kuba. Not only that, and I'm no word of a lie, they are now selling Skywalk mugs in the club shop.
Oh my Lord.
You know, so he's turned Skywalk into a brand. So he's now selling Skywalk to Darius to do mugs in the shop now. So everybody, you know, get over there, get yours, you know, let's support the Skywalk. Like Kuba says, you can see the manager from 50 miles above ground, you know what I mean? Look, who knows, maybe you might be able to zip line halfway down during a match or something. That cost you a few £100, or you never know, Kuba, you never know.
David, you know, you used to even say, David, you know, like how, you know, when Derek Dyer clears it, you know, he knocks it all the way to the River Thames. To be honest, David, I think they need to put up a wall in front of the Skywalk just in case when Dyer's playing football, you know, he doesn't knock somebody off the Skywalk completely because he might be able to hit it that far out of the stadium.
I agree with you, Jack, but look, Levy's a mastermind that money. He's not going to do that in risk of someone getting an injury and claiming, you know, so don't worry. He'll have his his eyes dotted and his exclamation marks and his full pointing. Don't worry, he won't take that risk, Jack.
No chance. And I'm afraid of heights, so I'm not supporting a Skywalk. That's me. I'm definitely not.
Brilliant.
What about the plunge pool, Darius? You might bring your togs, your speedos, and your cap. Go for the plunge pool, maybe?
No chance. Absolute no chance.
Oh, okay, Darius. You know, we're bringing everything away from Levy at this point. We're bringing everything away from the managers. this is practically have to do with the players, and you can look at this maybe over, a 20-year period, a 10-year period, 5-year period, even over just this last season. What is Tottenham's biggest on the field issue? What is the biggest issue on the field? Is it the players' mentality? Is it maybe specific players just in general in the club, that, are like just poisoning, maybe even molding the club maybe? Is it maybe the quality of the players just itself? We just don't have quality enough players. Is it maybe the culture within the club? I mean, what do you put it down to? What is maybe our biggest on the field issue?
So apart from Moon Boots, Sissoko and Winks, I probably would give you 2 reasons why I believe.
It's so funny hearing these names.
That's the 3. No, that's the 3 that I, like I said, it's bias or whatever. It's a personal beef with those 3. Like, I don't care. You could do a triple roulette, top corner 40-yard strike. I still will not praise you. Like, that's just those 3 players. But apart from those 3 players, one for me, the issue with Tottenham is sentiment. I think we hold too much sentiment with players that don't do anything in the club. And then we're now left with players like Dyer and Winks, who we think are doing something at the club or who are sort of bringing a DNA to the club just because you've been in the academy. No, you're not good enough. Go. A lot of players have been staying here 1, 2, 3 more years because we've been thinking, oh, well, he's been here 5 years and he's done a good job and he's a really nice person. I couldn't care at this point. If you're not contributing significantly to the team in terms of a good ethos or on the pitch, you have to go because you've got no use. So players like Lamela, I understand that he scored a couple of Rabona goals and he was our record signing when Bale left, whatever. I don't care. You have to go now. Lucas, again, he's been good, but what has Lucas done for the past 2 years? If you can get 15 million for a player like Lucas, you do that and you go and reinvest. So for me, the sentiment's one issue. And then also, like you said, the culture of the club, I don't know what it is that's going to put us over the line. It probably will be a trophy. I believe it will be a trophy, but there seems to be the hurdle that we just can't cross. And even with Jose Mourinho, he wasn't even given the opportunity to cross that hurdle. So I'm not going to get onto him for that necessarily. But there seems to be a hurdle and a mentality block that we just can't get over because every final that I've seen, we lead up, even the flipping Champions League final. You go and you do that against Ajax in a semi-final to put on a performance like that against Liverpool. There's something in the whole club where it's like, is it the pressure of finally delivering that first trophy? I don't know, but there's something going on in Tottenham Hotspur that's it's that final hurdle, the final of the games, the semi-finals. It seems like the pressure gets too much, even for the big players. Like, I'm not excusing Kane and Son's performance against Man City in that final. They were trash. They were bad. So, yeah, I just think the sentiment of keeping players on for a bit too long and the culture of the club. And then, Winks, Moon Boots and Sissoko, they have to go.
A bit too long, Darius. Some of them are claiming squatters' rights at this stage, the likes of Davies, Lamela and stuff like that.
And it's not even like they've won trophies, is it? They've not done anything at the club to warrant them staying. So I don't know why we're loving these players so much. I honestly don't get it.
Yeah, we almost fetishize them kind of in a way where like Lamela become like Lamela's the certain mold of a player that we need on the pitch. And it's like, when you really think about it, it's like every other club has like actual super subs that actually have an effect on the game, where we're talking about like, oh no, let's just put in Winksy because Winksy hasn't got like a fair shout in a while. Like,
can you imagine? Lamela's been at the club for 8 years and only scored 17 goals, I think it is, or something like that. Like, that's
surprises that many, to be honest.
Exactly. He's got more yellow cards probably.
This is the funny thing actually about him, I will say, is that I think he has, a decent, he doesn't actually have as many yellow cards and red cards as you think, which is actually kind of funny. But especially red cards. I think he only has like one in his whole career.
Yeah, someone told me his first one was against Arsenal in the North London derby.
So we do kind of get a little mixed up. I completely agree. I think Lamela is a perfect example. And I think it's like someone who we just like romanticize or something like that, where we just romanticize him to be way better than he really is. And it's just someone that just needs to be out. And I completely agree. David, what is the on the field issue? What is the biggest one that comes to your head when it comes to what is our biggest problem on the field? What is the one that comes to mind? Thank
God we stopped talking about Lamela. I'd say Will Stewart's sitting there hitting his head with a frying pan. He doesn't like the guy. He's going nuts right now. Look, the biggest problem for me at Tottenham Hotspur is too many clicks. Player power. You know, at the end of the day, they all have their little factions, but when they don't like something, they go and cry and get a manager sacked. You have the Welsh Mafia auditioning for Godfather, the new Godfather. You know, the Welsh Mafia. You have the French Mafia, Sissoko, Endon Burgers. They like to turn up to McDonald's, have whatever. You know what I mean? They're so unfit. Then you have the likes of Winks, Dyer, Davies, you know, the shit brigade, just honestly, the players that rob wages. For me, this is the problem. You have too many clicks. You have too many clicks, and the problem is with these clicks, they're formed by the shit players.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is the problem. I'd understand if it was Kane, Son, you know what I mean, Hugo Lloris and Alderweireld all fucking, doing all their little handshakes, patting each other on the bum, drying each other's hair, auditioning for The Godfather, calling themselves the Tottenham Mafia. I'd understand. But when you're seeing Ben Davies tag along the likes of Gareth Bale and call himself the Welsh Mafia, and all he's done is sit in my club with a balaclava for 8 years and rob fucking wages, right? And then you see the likes of Moussa Sissoko and Ronald McDombele and, players like that having their French clique. This is the problem. Whatever happened to coming together as a fucking team, I couldn't care where you come from, or anything like that. I could not give a flying hoot. Couldn't give a shit what type of person you are. Just come together as a fucking team. Be one. Fight for one cause. Fight for the badge. See that? That's what they need to fucking fight for. Many players have fallen for that crest before them. It's about time they started doing the same. They need to fight for that badge. They need to fight for us fans. And they need to get out there and all unite and push in one direction. Instead of, we do a bit of training. No, we can't. Garrett and Ben and Roden are missing. They're auditioning. Do you not know that? We're up the East End of London, they're auditioning. Right, guys, we'll get the warm-up in. No, look, we can't. Ronald McDombele and Sissoko are out there eating a fucking breakfast McMuffin. We have to wait for the guys. Come on. We're a team. We have to wait for them guys. Then you have Lamela, Reguilon, and fucking Lo Celso all nibbling off the same piece of meat that Jose Mourinho got him for a man of the match award. You know what I mean? The clicks is unbelievable. We need to stop the clicks and come together as one. You see it all over the world, all over the media now. Everybody needs to be one. About time the fucking Tottenham players woke up and got bought into that. Yeah. You know what I mean? We all need to be one. The problem is at Tottenham is the fractions. We have to realize this. It's the fractions. It's all the stupid little video, and then you have the English brigade thinking they're playing a one-day series or the Ashes against Australia. Joe Hart, Harry Kane, Moon Boots, Harry Winks, all sitting there playing cricket. You know what I mean? That was a good wicket. Let's sit down and have a Sambon coffee. You know what I mean? It's a fucking joke. Get out there and train. You're paid 200 grand a week. The minimum is to be fucking fit. Josie didn't tell us to do any training, any weights, or anything like that. Okay. And Winks, that's why you're 25 and you're still a little bitch. Because you can't take anything on yourself. You don't lift weights. You're afraid. I bet you still ring your daddy to tuck you in when there's a thunderstorm. You know what I mean? It's an absolute joke. Then you have Ben Davies. Again, just look, God love him, he tries, but he's just shit. It's just shit. Then you have Serge Aurier. Honestly, I'm sure he brings out a cone and a rugby ball and kicks conversions in training. Because, he can't kick a ball to save his life. That guy needs training. Sissoko needs training. Get out there, do extra training on your technical ability. Honestly, we're a joke of a club, and these players need to wake up. And that's why we are where we are, is because they're all too busy doing stuff in front of the media and, playing cricket and pretending everything's happy. And then on the pitch, they're looking at each other and going, oh, Ben, that's your fault. And Gareth Bale running over it. No, he's part of the Welsh Mafia. We won cricket this week, so we already agreed it can't be his fault. So it's one of your guys to take the blame. It's a joke. In fact, fuck it. Just make Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg captain. Let him just run all over them. Let him hold these fuckers accountable for their actions. And the reason why I say that is because I love it. He's on the pitch. If he fucked up, I see it. He was at fault for a goal. He puts his hand up. Okay, grand. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Anyone else makes a goal, they're all looking at each other. And you're like, oh, what are they looking at? No, they're just asking who's bowling Monday morning in the cricket game. You know what I mean? They couldn't give a shit what's gone on and what mistakes they made. And it's a joke. It's a joke. But sorry, we have 2 super chats. Let's get to them.
No, absolutely. We got a super chat in here from Nigel Gates, and he says, "What you don't have is a team, no desire to win, no leaders." I mean, you just heard it from David, Nigel. You just heard it. I mean, we got players that can't even tuck themselves in at night. We got players, who practically don't even know what to do with themselves. If the laundry machine isn't working, they got players that can't help themselves if they don't have the right Danish. If the latte isn't brewed for them just right, they got to take a week off. You just heard it from David. So absolutely, Nigel, pick yourself up also for all the super chats. Really generous today as well, Nigel. Really generous. So pick yourself up. And then we got one from Vlad Turkanu. Thank you. And he says, we have to give a manager opportunity. Levy let Poch implement his vision on the team and clean out the Dyers and Soldados. We need a new cycle. Look, he did actually clean out, the Dyers and Soldados. And unfortunately, Levy then replaced it with more Soldados and Dyers in the team. And that's probably what I never really thought about it that way with Poch as well, which is, kind of a shame. Poch cleaned everybody out, did a good apartment cleaning, got the dustpan out, got the vacuum out, brought out the disinfectant wipes, cleaned it all down. And then Levy just practically, almost like a little kid, walked in with his muddy shoes, made it all dirty again. And then Poch practically had enough and he had to go. He had to leave and pick yourself up, Vlad. I actually really agree with that. Never thought about it that way.
Yeah, look, this is something I've preached many times. Poch was allowed to get rid of 12 players, get in players that he wanted to work with, young, hungry players that he would train his way, run their bollocks off. You managed to get them all thinking the same way. It's kind of like, look, forget about the money now. You put your effort in. You're all good players. The success comes, the money you follow with it. You all bought into that, into the Champions League final. We need whoever comes in next has to be allowed to do that. So big up, Vlad. I really appreciate it. And a lot of people loving the rant I went on there. Sorry, guys. It's just stuff I've had to get off my chest. The Outland says, look, it's Tuesday. The Outland says it's Tuesday. We can't train because we're going to Lamella's poodle party.
I knew you love that.
Party for his 1-year-old poodle. 100%. I fully agree. I fully agree with you. We're a joke. We're an absolute joke. But look, sorry, guys. I had to do it because it's been on my mind all summer, and I'm glad I got it off my chest.
Absolutely, David. Absolutely. I didn't know, like in somebody, David, I think you actually got a rod. I think Wink's upgraded from his dad not tucking him in at night from the thunderstorms. Apparently someone in the chat said it's his butler that tucks him in for him. It's his butler that tucks him in for him. It's so David, he's actually upgraded from his own dad. He lets his butler do it for him, lets his butler do the tucking in, bring him the tea, bring him the hot cocoa when it gets a little too cold, So David, you got that part just a little off. But moving on to the next question, and it's kind of maybe a bit Euros related. And so I'm actually coming to Darius, because he is my Euros man. He's practically the most knowledgeable man, in the Spurs family.
Finally, no Spurs talk. Well, finally,
he's one of the most, but people have already probably can already tell. Darius is one of the most knowledgeable. I just think general Euros, general European players, just general everything. Darius is your man to go to. And so, Darius, I'm going to come to you here. I mean, Hojbjerg, in my opinion, has absolutely looked brilliant for Denmark and has already registered 3 assists in this tournament. Do you have anything to say, Darius, to maybe, the Hojbjerg doubters, the Hojbjerg haters? Because, we even had a player ratings here. You saw a lot of people coming out of the woodwork. I think we gave him an 8. I think we did as well. I think Marcelo even gave him a 10 just because Marcelo brought up the argument, like when you're fed enough shit, when you have to do the work of 3 men, your quality goes down. And so, I mean, what do you have to say, given that Hojbjerg has looked, like practically one of the best players in the tournament, all of a sudden, what do you say to the people that have, said he's not good at passing, he can't turn, he's not technically good, whatever it may be? I mean, what do you say to the Hojbjerg haters now?
I think anybody who's still hating on Hojbjerg, and I don't want to sound rude, I don't want to be mean, but I think people who hate on Hojbjerg really like goals and assists and really judge a midfielder on that. And I think that's difficult to judge Hojbjerg on. You got to look at Hojbjerg again. Hojbjerg played every single minute of every single Premier League game, I believe, last season. Take him out of that team. Where do you think, or what do you think happens to us? He's a glue to the team, and he might not be that flash player that you want to sort of do something and do a skill and move or beat a player and make a great pass, but he is so sturdy, he is so reliable, he is a leader on the pitch, he will intercept, he will pressure, he's intelligent, and I think that goes a long way. And then not to mention, you just mentioned it there, but his passing is so underrated. His ability to thread a pass through lines is so impressive. Yeah. And I think that goes a long way, because if it
goes unnoticed as well.
It does go unnoticed, because if you're Hojbjerg and you win the ball high on the up in the pitch, and then you can turn on that and then play a ball straight away through to a striker, the transition is so much quicker. It allows us to basically attack and defend at the same time. And to be honest, it will probably work out better for the defenders, because we will still be higher up the pitch. And looking at how he's played in the Euros, Hojbjerg, he's played a lot higher. He's not played that sort of lone defensive midfielder role where Jose's made him basically sweep up the shit that's behind him because he can't defend. So I think with a competent partner next to him, Hojbjerg could play higher, and you could see us win the ball back in higher areas and turn and transition into
attack. He played high
quicker.
against United and won ball back in high areas, and he got an assist or two to a goal, didn't he?
Exactly. So I just think that not to go with the fitness, the fact that you play every single game, the mentality, the leadership, everything about him, and then you add on his ability. I just think that you cannot, like, even if he doesn't score a goal or 4, 5, 6 goals in a season, even if he doesn't get 10 assists in a season, he's so important to make everybody else around him better that I find it impossible to kind of take him out of the team or even discredit what he's done. Even if he's had a bad game, like I said, if Hojbjerg had a bad game, the first Everton game, he was awful. I can't remember that game because every other game after that, he would at least be a 7 out of 10. And for me, that's a sign of a great player. If you can put in a 7 out of 10 performance every single game, that is an underappreciated asset in your skill set. I think that he is one of our most important players, second, third to Kane and Son, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely, Darius. And I think that's actually a very good point. And just the fact that he is actually able, not only is he just, defensive midfielder that sweeps up after everything, he actually he gets a little restless, right? He almost likes to go forward and win the ball up high and try to slot someone in. That's where he gets his assists, really. It's just, being a bit aggressive, winning that ball up high, sitting somebody down up high, and then trying to slot somebody in through the lines. And to be honest, I think that's, like you said, that's one of those things that just is maybe underappreciated or maybe unnoticed. 100%. Of PRML Hojbjerg. And so maybe I'll just quickly follow you up there. Would you captain him next season? Would you make him the captain of Spurs?
Yeah. In my opinion, again, I don't give a shit.
Let's say Kane stays, let's say Lloris stays. Would you captain him still?
I really don't give a shit about this whole how many years you've been at the club, how many goals you scored for the club. A captain has qualities, and Hojbjerg shows those qualities. Kane shouldn't be captain for England. Let's be honest with ourselves. Kane is not the England captain. He's just the best player on the team, and he's probably going to play the most minutes for the team. Right. Lloris is a decent captain. Don't get me wrong. I think that Lloris is a very good leader on the pitch, but I have a bit of qualms with captain. I know that captains aren't really that important anymore, but I have a bit of qualms of goalkeepers as captains because it's difficult to kind of dictate play when you're right at the back of the pitch. So I think that Hojbjerg, in the position that he plays, he's talking to everyone on the pitch. He can at least communicate with everyone on that pitch. And I just think that he's been here a year. He literally joined last season. Like, he's not even... Yeah. Think about all the turmoil we've been through and everything. Like, he's been here literally a year, and we're all talking about him like he's been here 4 or 5 years. So for me, it's a no-brainer. He should be captain, and he should be starting every game like he did last time. And if we can, I think personally we shouldn't. I know we'll probably get onto this, but I think that Skip should be his understudy as opposed to his partner, because I think that Hojbjerg can teach Skip to play that same role. And if you can give Hojbjerg somebody to basically work off of and not play every single minute of every single game like he had to this season, you'll probably see Hojbjerg's performances improve. If he doesn't have to play 50-odd games a season, and he maybe only plays all the Premier League games, you'll probably see a better Hojbjerg next season. I'm not even going to lie to you. And that's kind of scary to think about.
That is kind of scary. Yeah.
Just on one thing Darius said there. He was saying that captains aren't important anymore. They're not important when you're in a team like City and, everyone's doing their job. Everyone's at it and everyone's doing what they're supposed to be. Then everyone's in a way as a leader. Everyone's taking responsibility for their... But lower down the league, captains become more and more important because they're the ones that everybody looks up to. They're the leader of men. And for me, it's Hojbjerg. Look, I'll be honest with you. I don't get inspired looking at Lloris as my captain.
Nope.
Harry Kane, he's more of a lead by example guy rather than sometimes in a game you need someone that's going to motivate people. Sometimes you need someone that's going to berate someone so that they don't do the same mistake. Put a fucking firework up their arse and get them moving. And sometimes you need that. Look, with Hojbjerg, he's not afraid to do that. People say he's not a good footballer. This guy came through the Bayern Munich Academy. You don't come through the Bayern Munich Academy if you're a bad footballer. I can tell you that now. Or if you're not an intelligent footballer. He also won a Champions League with Bayern Munich. So he's a Champions League medal. Right? The thing is, Hojbjerg, he does the simple things. He does the work that no one else wants to do. But then when he receives the ball, he just does the simple things. What more do you want from a player in midfield?
Exactly.
What more do you want? Look, the thing is with Winks, okay, people say it rotates play. Yeah. But Hojbjerg rotates play. You have Hojbjerg in there, but what Hojbjerg gives you is he'll get stuck in and he'll win play back. He'll shout at people. He's not afraid to come and show for the ball and give it to me in tough situations. Winks, okay, he shows for the ball, but he doesn't really want it. He's not demanding it. He's just showing to the ball. He's just doing his little hand movements so the Sky camera pick up on it. And because he's English straight away, the camera's over. Shoom. Oh, Harry, look at that. Look at that. He's looking for the ball. You know what I mean? It's a fucking joke. It's a joke. I'm sick of this guy. I'm sick of him. At least Hojbjerg runs towards the ball and he's like, you melt. Give me that football now. You know what I mean? And then he takes it and he gets them going. He gets stuck in. He reads play. He bollocks players. He's a leader. The guy runs around with a fucking headband on. You know, he's half concussed. He runs around with a bandage on because he doesn't want to come off. That semi-final against Brentford, when he got the injury, he didn't even want to come off then. He couldn't even walk and he didn't want to come off. Or he didn't come off, actually. I think he saw the game out, I think. You know, he came back on just to see it through. The guy is a warrior, and every
he's
team
25.
needs someone like that.
He's
and then
25.
in beside that is where you put your forward-thinking midfielder. In beside him, you put your person that's going to receive the ball on the half-turn, push forward, drive at players, try and spread. The problem is with Harry Winks, I'll be honest with you. He's never on the half-turn to receive the ball. Never. Now, when you're a youngster, the first thing you're taught is always be on the half-turn when you're receiving the ball. So that way, you know, if you have space, you can turn and go. You have a chance of beating your man, and you've opened up your eyes to what's around the pitch, right? Harry Winks, he's always receiving him, he's back to play. And that's why he's not strong enough. So if anyone comes up his arse, he always gets his pocket picked. That's why he doesn't really demand the ball when he's coming looking for it. And that's why he's so quick to play it sideways or backwards, is because he can't see what's going on behind him. And for me, people can sit here and say, oh, you know, that's a good player. It's not. Any good player receives the ball on the half-turn and can see the pitch. In fact, Harry Winks slows a lot of things down. There's times there where he's actually been going forward with the ball, but he's that slow trying to pick out his pass and make up his mind because he's not used to seeing the pitch in front of him like that. He slows everything down and players get back and they can reset the formation. And that's the difference between Hojbjerg and a player like Harry Winks. Hojbjerg does all the basics and he does them right and he's listening to what he's being told. Harry Winks doesn't. He makes all the right gestures so the Sky cameras looks at him and says, oh yeah, let's get him into the Euros. It's a fucking joke. Honestly, Hojbjerg, he's a leader of men and the guy needs to be captain. Everything about his mentality and his personnel and just like, you know, what you see on the pitch screams to me someone that inspires me. And for me, I don't give a shit how long he's been here. In fact, this fucking group has been together too long that they probably know each other's dicklegs. Do you know what I mean? Just fucking get someone in there that's going to mix it up. Get Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg in there and let him fuck shit up and get rid of the weak ones.
Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah, completely agree. And Dermot Moyles, good to see you, Dermot. Always good to see you. Thanks for joining us tonight, Dermot. I do hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well, Dermot. He says, we have too many overrated players on big money. Yeah, that's the thing, Dermot. And so even I think Darius was alluding to this earlier where we got to stop being so sentimental towards players. We got to stop being so sympathetic sometimes, because if you think about some of the money that they're on, we shouldn't be so sympathetic. 100%. We shouldn't be so nice to them. You know, if this were Crystal Palace, if this were Burnley, you know, maybe we could, you know, give them a bit more of a break. You know, they're not as much of the big money as other players. They're not as, you know, talented as other players. They have more of a ceiling, but, you know, we're Tottenham Hotspur. We have plenty of players that we can sign who can reach absolute heights of the best players in the world. So why are we settling for the worst? We do settle for the worst, and they honestly are paid way too much. So I completely agree with you, Dermot. Completely agree. And we got a very generous super chat from the Brooklyn man himself, Lazy 8. And he says, I've been worried about Hugo as captain for the last 2 seasons. Hugo is respected, but Jan was the real backline captain. Agree, Harry shouldn't be captain? Yeah, I mean, I kind of, to be honest, maybe Jan and Toby together were kind of a bit of almost like a combined captainship, I would say, in the back line. They almost kept each other accountable and also even kept the other players accountable as well. I think Jan, even as a defender, is even also a leader by example, I would say, as a captain. Just
Kuva makes a good point, sorry, though, in another comment, how he said that Hugo probably doesn't deserve to be taken away from the captaincy, but putting Hojbjerg as a vice captain, definitely, like I said, if there's no... Hojbjerg is the captain, but like I said, there's a whole politics in the changing room and stuff. If you take it off Hugo, probably will look a little bit ugly.
The image of it, yeah.
Yeah, and we all know deep down in our hearts that the real captain on the pitch and who should be the captain on the band is Hojbjerg. I think we all know that.
Yeah. But I agree with you, Lazy. And yeah, I've been, you know, to be honest, Hugo not been my favorite choice of the two. I even at the end of the day, maybe would even rather have it be Sonny or Kane over Hugo. But then now that we've got Pierre, absolutely has to be him. And I do really agree with you, Lazy. What do you got to say, David? Yeah.
Yeah, no, big up Lays. Yeah, I fully agree with you. Look, I've never been inspired by Hugo Lloris being the captain. I never have done. He is respected. I get that. You know, Jan was backline captain, agree. Yeah, and he agrees that Harry shouldn't be captain. Look, Harry Kane, I don't think he's captain. He does everything right, but he doesn't have that nasty side to him, which Hojbjerg will have. And for me, that's why I say Hojbjerg. Same as Hugo. Look, I don't think he has that nasty side into him. And I'm not on about off the pitch, but I'm on about someone that cares that much about winning that they're willing to speak up and cause a ruckus over it. And that's the difference. But big up, Lays. Yeah, really do appreciate the support, my man. What an absolute legend. And everybody else, you know, make sure you do keep getting your super chats in, keep helping the channel, keep helping us, you know, drive forward. And it really does keep helping us put out better content and get more and more shows on the go. You know, it helps me be able to do it full time and follow my dreams. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate your support.
Yeah, but we got another, and also, yeah, big up Lazy 8, and I hope you're doing well today. I believe he's a fellow Brooklynite as well, so big yourself up, Lazy 8. And Tom R, he says, Delhi McDingling cares more about women than Spurs, David. You know, David, I feel like he cares more about, you know, the animal control or, you know, the pest control that's chasing after him sometimes on the field because of that hairdo. But, you know, maybe it is the women, David. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Look, you know, in a way, I don't begrudge them, the women, if you know what I mean. But at the same time, do all that if you're performing on the football pitch. If you're not performing on the football pitch, cut all that shit out. Get your performances back on the football pitch, and then whatever, you know what I mean. But not only that, look, he cares too much about his image, his Instagram. You know, for the other day, put out a thing, come follow me on Instagram, look at my video, you have a chance to win my new watch. You know what I mean?
Cares more about his KD on COD.
I just struggle to understand the guy anymore. I just struggle to understand him. His hair, look, baby, done it. It's a new me, fresh change, whatever else. But it hasn't worked. In fact, it's probably weighing him down. You know, the aerodynamics when he's sprinting and stuff like that. You know, just keep it tidy, short back and sides. You know what I mean? Look, I don't get it. For me, if he wants to go for mad hair like that, go for the Darius. You know, simple. You know,
tie it up.
Isn't it, Darius?
Tie it up. You sorted, mate. Honestly. And the thing is, he's got fake ones in as well because his hair grew very, very quickly, in my opinion.
I thought so too. That's funny you said that. I didn't want to say that.
I was like,
so Darius is exposing him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've been on the Delhi's got fake dreads way for a while now. So yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly with what you say. I'm so done with Dele Alli now. I think that he needs a change to be able to probably play better, and also, I don't actually mind him going for the girls because it's Pep's daughter, so at least we might get some inside knowledge. She might pillow talk, release a few, you know. But that's maybe why we know about the 100 million bid.
Maybe probably sent him on her to get her for the women's team.
100%. But yeah, no, on Dele Alli's football, yeah, I think that he needs a different scenery. I think that you're not going to get that 19 goal a season Dele Alli anytime soon.
Yeah, completely agree with you. And to be honest, guys, we're moving on to the extra time, if that's all right. This is the extra time of the show where, you know, obviously, you know, you can answer it as long as you like, but, you know, it's maybe not as much pressure, not as much of a performance. And so you can just answer it how you like. Be yourself. You know, we get to know you a bit more. Yeah, David. Yeah.
Just read this out for Ellie. She's a huge Hojbjerg fan. Hojbjerg is a true leader of men and a heart of a lion. A bite like a wolf and a mentality of an Einstein.
Oof.
Big up. Couldn't put it any better than that.
I love that, Ellie. I absolutely love that.
Frame that. That might replace that painting back there, you know. I'm not going to lie to you. That's a quarter and a half. That is. Oof.
Absolutely love that, Ellie. And if I'm finding out that Ellie is also, if Hojbjerg is her favorite player on the team right now, I mean, Ellie, I really appreciate that. You know, I think Ellie, you know, she's going to be taking me one day to, you know, go see the Tottenham Lane and, you know, her convertible. You know, me, you know, we're going to probably invite Pierre to join us. You know, Pierre is going to be in the back seat. You know, we're going to have some, you know, some Danishes in the morning. You know, then finish it off. Finish it off with maybe a bit of a walk on the river. You know, Hojbjerg and I holding hands. You know, it's just going to be brilliant.
He's dictating where you're going.
Exactly. Nigel Gates here with yet again another super chat. Nigel, really big yourself up. Been very generous tonight, Nigel, and I really do appreciate it. And he says, off topic, but Rodon and Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg have been both outstanding in the Euros. Yeah, with Rodon especially. Even Rodon, I've got a couple of moments, plenty of times it looks like he's pulled up with an injury, a bit of a muscle tear or something, and he's been able to just get up and power through. You know, he's a bit like Hojbjerg. I think they And Darius, I think, even brought this up perfectly. Hojbjerg is only 25, and he practically has the captain mentality and warrior mentality of like a 34-year-old Hungarian that we've seen today. And so, Hojbjerg is just the mentality that you can't buy that kind of mentality. You honestly can't. You only can be lucky if you have someone in your team like that. And to be honest, Joe Rodon seems to be of that same mold as well. So I completely agree with you, Nigel. Completely agree.
Yeah.
But moving on to, unless David, do you want something to say to Nigel? Nigel's been an absolute legend tonight.
Yeah, Nigel, look, you're an absolute legend. Honestly, your support has been insane. I really do appreciate it. You have no idea how much it means, and you know how much it really does help the channel, man. And I agree with you. Roden has been very good there. He's looked very assured. Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg's just been a leader, and then you know what he done the other day with his team, the way he dragged them forward. Of course, look, it was a team effort, but without a warrior and a leader, and you know, a guy with a heart bigger than the size of a lion, you know, you're always going to do spectacular things like that. And he's been outstanding, Pierre. Big up Nigel Gates. I really appreciate the support. And everyone else, feel free to get them in. Make sure you do smash a like on the stream, subscribe on the channel if you're new, and make sure you follow Paxton Road TV and Jack Kineke. All the description for their social media and the Paxton Road YouTube channel is in the description below.
Absolutely. And so moving on to extra time, gentlemen, and extra time, it's just a little bit of time for us to maybe get to know you, maybe what you're thinking, you know, what your preferences are, maybe in Spurs related, non-Spurs related. And so the first one is, if this was, you know, it's still Spurs, it's still your club, but would you rather Spurs be run maybe like a sugar daddy club, kind of like a Chelsea, kind of like a Man City? Would you rather Spurs be like a sugar daddy club? Or would you rather maybe be run like a bit more like a Moneyball club, or maybe just a bit more of a smartly run club? Like, let's say your Leicester City, your Brentford, your Lille. What would you say, Darius? Would it be maybe a sugar daddy club? Would you want to, you know, have all the money in the world, the blank checks? Or would you rather be the smartly run club?
This might be a bit controversial. I'm not sure if it will be, but this might be controversial. I personally would go the approach of the Brentford, Dortmund, Leicester sort of role. Yeah. And I say that because, in my opinion, for them, that one league title for Leicester will mean more than the 20 that Man City will win, in my opinion. And I think that if you can naturally, and I know that obviously everybody gets lucky, everybody has fortune and stuff, but if you can naturally sort of sign a couple good players and bring in a sort of philosophy, bring in a manager that nobody's heard about, do you know what I mean? Academy players come up. And if you win the league like that organically, that will mean so much more. And that will last in the memory of your club, of you, of the fans, a lot more than a City fan winning the Premier League over and over again. I think
become a neutral's favorite as well. You kind of become a bit of a neutral fan.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Like, for me, I can't not love Leicester. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I enjoy watching Leicester. I love Leicester because they are how you should win things. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how you should approach football. Yeah, cool.
Especially Chelsea, if you don't have infinite money. Especially if not everybody has infinite money.
100%. Like, Chelsea and City is great. You've won a lot of titles. I get that. If you win loads of things, you have that to hang over your fans' heads and everything. But I know that deep down inside, like, the way that Leicester won that Premier League title, and even the way they won the FA Cup, that's going to mean so much more to those fans. And that's just a club in general. And I know that maybe the Cities and the Chelseas are kind of more that new rich club, maybe don't care as much. But yeah, I just think, especially as a Tottenham fan, like, I'm not used to success. I'm not even used to trophies, bro. So, like, for me, if I win one and it's a great one, I'll be buzzing, mate. I'll be honestly buzzing, and that's how I approach it. I think it will mean a lot more to fans and the club if you take the approach of the Leicester. And not to say that the Chelsea and Man City way is discrediting the way they win trophies, because they still win the titles, but I would definitely take the Leicester, Brentford, Dortmund approach, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually in the exact same boat as well. Just because of maybe that thing I kind of, slightly interrupted you with, is just because, it would be kind of nice to be that club that every neutral. Yeah, we can hear you, David. You popped in perfectly.
Sorry, internet, sorry.
No, you're all good, David. You're all good. But yeah, I agree with you. I would actually love to be that bit of a more smartly run club, doesn't have as much of the blank checks available, just because it would be lovely to be that team that nobody hates because you're so smartly run, like the cases of the Leicesters. Like you said, with Dortmund is a great example. Maybe even Lille is the new example as well, or like Monaco, or even, Monaco at one point, right? They had the blank check and now they no longer have the blank check. And so now they're actually turned into a smartly run club. And so it's all very interesting. And to be honest, I personally would rather have that, but maybe that's just a bit of our young blood maybe coming in there, and maybe us having a bit more time on our side, in order to get the trophies. And some people are a bit more impatient, rightfully so. But David, would you rather be a bit more of a sugar daddy? Would you rather Spurs have a bit more of a sugar daddy ownership? You get the blank checks, you get the star signings, you win the league, you win the trebles, just whatever money it takes. Would you rather be that kind of club? Or would you rather be maybe a bit more of the smartly run? You win a trophy every now and again, you sign that brilliant player no one's ever heard of, et cetera. I mean, what would it be, David? Would you rather be maybe a Dortmund, or would you rather be a Chelsea or a Man City?
I've been starved this long. I'd probably go along the likes of Chelsea and City, to be honest with you. You look at all the top leagues across Europe, the teams that win it, the teams that are challenging for it, they all throw the money at it. Look, you could argue that Lille was an anomaly this season in France, a bit like when Leicester won the league here. Look, we were the club that everybody envied, that everybody hated, Jack. We were that club. And after the Champions League final, even a bit before that, I'd say the Champions League final kind of masked a lot of things. But even before that, we were starting to lose it, and we've just completely lost that now. And look, for me, unfortunately, throwing money at it now is the way of the way of success. It's all across the world, even in business, whatever else. Those who have more money succeeds, and that's the way it's going. Look, I would love to sit here and be like a Leicester, like a Brentford, like a Dortmund, like a Lille. Team like that, I would love to. But we've got a massive stadium. We've got the best training complex. I was built so we can win trophies. Now go and fucking put the money in to do it. At the end of the day, we're sitting here crying out for money for players because we need them to throw money in. So it's the only option now. It's for me. You're going to have to get someone that's going to be able to financially compete. As sad as it is, and believe me, this is sad, but as sad as it is, I think them days are gone, I think them days of shrewdly running the club is gone, because you're competing against people that are throwing money at it. So if you want the trophies, you have to throw money at it. If not, we're just going to have to be happy with top four and the odd trophy here and there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, David. And to be honest, I kind of agree with both sides. I feel like, if you're above a certain age, or to be honest, if you've been supporting Spurs since you practically could walk, even then, I just could really understand how you just want to be like Chelsea. You just want an Abramovich, somebody that just says, look, I want to win the league this year, however much money it takes. You want an owner that, wants to brag to his buddies at the, the big oligarch dinner party, saying, look what I won this year. Look, I bought the Havertz, I bought Timo, I won it all this year. Look at this, look at me. It'd be nice to have one of those. And especially to the fans that have had enough, I think that's exactly what they deserve, to be honest. I think they, and I have my morals when it comes to football, but I will say it, I think they deserve a shake. They deserve whatever it takes to win, because Tottenham fans have been tortured enough. They've been tortured enough that whatever owner can give them the blank check, to be honest, they deserve it. I will say they deserve it. And Dermot Moyles, yet again, another super chat. Big yourself up, Dermot. And I really do hope you're doing well today. And, the sun is shining brighter, and everything's all good with you. And he says this is the worst Spurs squad I've seen in years. Bill Nick would be turning in his grave to see what happened to this club. The soul has gone. Thanks, Levy. Yeah. Dermot Moyles maybe bringing us back down to earth a little bit with this. And, maybe this is...
He's right, though. He's right. The soul
Dermot,
is gone.
this makes me want to have Dermot, your super chat here, your generosity here, it makes me want to have the sugar daddy ownership now, because with the sugar daddy ownership, just say goodbye to all the club, say goodbye to all the players you have. You don't have to worry about how much you sell them for. You bring in a brand new one. Even Pep Guardiola now saying that the idea that he's saying that now, he wants a whole new set of players and everything. He practically has wasted, a country's entire GDP on his team, and he still isn't satisfied. And so, to be honest, that's what Spurs mentality, I guess, should be as well. And so, big yourself up, Dermot. I actually completely agree.
Big up, Dermot. Big up, Dermot. Legend.
Next super.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the support, man. And like I said, I hope you're okay, my man. I hope everything's all good, man.
Yeah, and Adam agreeing with you here, Dermot. Moving on to the next extra time question, and it says Spurs are in desperate need of a new right back. So who has maybe caught your eye this last season, or maybe the current Euros tournament? Who do you think maybe should be the one that we should go in for? The right back that maybe has fancied you. Darius, I know I know you're gonna
I'm telling you, mate. I've got my list ready. I literally made a list for these 5 questions and not for the Spurs ones. That's bad, isn't
it? I love it, Darius. I love it. But it doesn't have to be. You can wow me with maybe one we'd never heard before, or it could be just someone that you really back. Someone that would be perfect for the team. Let me know who's the right back that maybe has caught your eye.
Yeah, no, it's not necessarily I put 5 names down. They're not names that nobody's going to know. I think these players here all have similar qualities and they will all contribute. For me, I want my right back to be defensively solid just as much as he's offensively solid. I think I understand the need for an attacking right back, but I really, really appreciate right backs like Reece James, who can, you know what I mean? As much as he can put a good ball in, he's not going to be an easy person to get past. And I think that's what we've missed a lot. So the names I've put down for the Euros one. So the main one that I've seen in the Euros is Denzel Dumfries. I think he's been absolutely fantastic. He's been amazing. He's got up and down that right side of the Dutch wing, like almost like a right winger, basically. And I know they play 3 at the back, but he's been amazing. And then the other names I put are Tariq Lamptey, Vladimir Soufal, James Justin, and Serginho Dest. I think those 4 right backs, they all can attack and they all have good pace and they all can put a delivery in, actually. Maybe Lamptey's delivery is not as good, but all of them are defensively solid enough to the point where, if we get caught on a counter or maybe we're a player down and on the counter or in defense, I wouldn't be against that right back being in defense to sort of cover a centre back if a centre back's gone up for a corner.
Make the tackle.
Because it's the fullbacks who have to. It's normally the fullbacks who are covering for corners and stuff like that. So when we are being countered, you do need a right back and a left back who can defend well. So out of those 5 names, though, I'd probably say my favorite is, or most realistic, I would say Dumfries. I'd say my favorite out of them would probably be either Justin or Lamptey, I would say.
Justin has been sensational, but
I think Justin, that injury is so sad for him. I really, really feel bad for him with that. I think it was a knee injury.
He's even been playing kind of left back even for them, despite him being more of a right back, right? Yeah. So also great shout. But I don't think they're going to let him go. But that would be absolute dream scenario. That would be dream scenario. And I do think that Dumfries is a great shout. Also with Dumfries, it's people have now noticed him, but I've always known him as actually people have heard of him, but he's actually always been this very physical, kind of specimen in the air. He's actually sensational in the air when it comes to winning headers. He has some ridiculous proportion when it comes to aerial duels or something like that, where it's just he's in the 99th percentile or something. And he's also fairly tall, looks to be, in fantastic shape as well. And like you said, almost like we've been praising maybe Gosens for Germany on that left wing. Dumfries has been doing practically the same, if not better, maybe for the right wing on a more consistent display as well. So I do think Dumfries is my number 1 pick, and I completely agree.
I'm just saying, I don't believe you could probably get any of those right backs, by the way, but they would be my ideal right backs.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate the preparation for it. I love that. And David, maybe a right back, someone that's caught your eye this tournament, someone that's caught your eye this season, who would be the right back? Because to be honest, I think it's the first, obviously we need to sign center backs as well, practically at the same time. But I do think right back is the number one.
Yeah, I think Dumfries will be a very good buy. I really do. He will exactly replicate what Reguilon does the left-hand side.
Right.
Not only will he defend, he'll get in the box and he'll get on the end of things. He likes to drift into the box. We've seen that with Holland, and we've seen Reguilon do that with Tottenham. That would be brilliant. Max Aarons is another one I really would like, going forward. I do think he has potential to be as good, if not better, than Kyle Walker. So I would like Max Aarons to come in. They would be my 2 picks. 3rd pick would probably be Zeki Chelik. That would be my 3rd pick. But they would be my 3. I'd be happy with any single one of them coming in.
I completely agree, David. And David, maybe I'll just ask you, and I'll ask Darius too. I believe Dumfries is available in between 15 and 20 million pounds. And the Max Aarons would be around 30 million pounds, supposedly. If you had the choice between the 2, also maybe considering the money, which one would you take? Just maybe so that people would know in the chat.
I would prefer Max Aarons. I've been a long-term admirer of Max Aarons. I really do believe in the kid. And I swear, his English show, I'll come to the English quote and stuff like that, which is a reason they put out in the press before why we can't sign players. So, that'll be one ticked off the list too. So it's a win-win in both situations.
Good pick, David. Actually, good pick. And we always forget that sometimes. We do want to sign that, cheeky little Argentinian, especially me. I love to sign, a cheeky little Croatian or something, but I always forget I got to get an English player at the same time. It is a shame. But Darius, maybe just, considering what I just said, Dumfries for 15 million, Aaron's for 30 million. Which one would you take?
I think I would probably go. I'd probably go Aaron's as well. I agree. I think the pace and the tenacity, and I think maybe the age as well. I think he might be younger than Dumfries, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So yeah, I think all those added together will probably make the 10 million more worthwhile than Dumfries. But yeah, I think that Dumfries is. I think he's got a move destined after the performances that he's put on for the Netherlands. Yeah. So yeah, but absolutely. Max Aaron's, yeah, I think he's definitely he's the one to go for.
Fantastic answers, by the way, guys. And so moving on to the next one, maybe this one I think is just going to be funny, and I'm going to go to David here, and I think he's going to love it. David, you got to give your Spurs Worst Player of the Season award.
Just a few up for contention.
Maybe it's like the Oscars. It's like the Oscars, David. It's like the Oscars, for worst performance of the season. Maybe show their worst moments of the season.
Worst performance of the season. That's easy. That's fucking Harry Winks and Dele Alli running around after Grealish asking about hair products. That's a joke.
But worst player of the season, yeah.
For me, look, it's between the three amigos: Harry Stinks, Moon Boots, and Mr. Anonymous, aka Ben Davies. The reason why I say that, Ben Davies, every time the ball goes out to his side, he's tucked in behind Dyer playing Where's Wally. Okay? It's a joke. It's a joke. Modern day fullback needs to be out there, he needs to get out and he needs to cover the space. Be aware. He plays too safe. And a lot of times he just gets spun. It's too easy now to be able to run down on the inside of him or on the outside of him and float one across. It's been way too easy this season. Anytime he's played, look, when Reguilon went out injured, that kind of coincided with a lot of our dip in form when Ben Davies filled in there because teams target him. Another one is that fucking Moon Boots. Honestly, right? He got bet in the air by a 5'5" Oompa-Loompa from Fulham. Carvalho or whatever you want to call him. 5'5". Dyer's 6'4" fucking brick house. And he can't even get off the ground. It's embarrassing. The game against Leeds, embarrassing. For me, see, I hate Winks. I struggle not to give it to Winks because there has been a lot of embarrassing performances in there. But actually, I've justified it. It's Harry Winks because Eric Dyer, he played well up until October and November.
Yeah, that's fair, actually,
right?
David.
He played well up until then. And then after that, then he just had a stinker. But Harry Winks has been shit since fucking 2001. Since ever he was born, he's been shit. So for me, honestly, worst player of the season. It's that easy. It goes to Stinks. So safe. His missus doesn't like him in the bedroom. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. He's a joke of a footballer. He's not a man. He's 25. You don't know whether to play in defensive midfield. You don't know whether to play him attacking midfield. He's just not a centre midfielder. So where do you go from there? Left back, right wing. You know what I mean? He's not fast enough. He's not strong enough. He's not a footballer. He's not even a man. Harry Winks, definitely. I am. Get him on my club. Honestly, seriously, I've had enough of this guy. It bugs me. And what probably constitutes to it more was seeing some of the excuses people used to make from, but do you not remember that game against Madrid? If you can get that Winks back. I'm sitting there, I'm like, that was like 4 years ago, man. One game over the course of his whole Tottenham career. And we're talking about maybe we can get that Harry Winks back. One game. Even he didn't expect to have that good game. So how are we going to get that Harry Winks back? Honestly. You know what I mean? And this is the thing.
There's no Harry Winks to be got.
Gone. He gives me a headache. Like I said, he never takes the ball on the half turn, ever. And you go back to that 7-2, Winks was at fault for a lot of it. They picked his pocket. They read exactly what I was talking about. He plays with his back to goal. As soon as the ball goes to Winks, get in there and get straight up his arse and nick the ball off him. It's so easy when he's in your team. And look, even that goal he scored this season, the one in the Europa League, he didn't even mean it. He didn't even mean it. He meant to cross it to Bale. He meant to put an overtop ball for Bale. He didn't even mean it. So for me, Harry Winks, first performance of the season, I've never seen a midfielder so lightweight and get away with it and constantly blame everybody else. I've never seen a midfielder come and look for the ball and hide the way he does. I don't want the ball. I'm just doing it for cameras. And the players know it. That's why they don't give it to him. They know it. Look, here's Winks Sean again. Look, just give him the air. Give him the camera time. Come on, it's a running joke at the top of the team. It's a joke. It's a joke. Even the players know it's, here's Winks again. Obviously, we're not giving it to him. You know what I mean? It's a joke. It's just a joke. For me, he's the worst footballer I've ever seen at Tottenham. And we have to remember, this guy probably has about 5 years left, at the top, and he still doesn't even know what position he is. That's
David, I'm not even...
concerning. That's alarming. If that was anybody else, alarm bells would be ringing in their head. And at the end of the day, it's up to Harry Winks. It's not like he doesn't strike to me as the player who wants to go off and improve and wants to do extra things. And he just goes home. He slings the bag over the couch, you know, and misses, do you have a good day? Yeah, sure. You know, I don't. You're home early, Winks. Yeah, you know, come on, I don't have to put an extra train. I'm from Tottenham. I came through the academy. That's, you know, I don't have to do anything like that. Of course, I come through the ranks. They love me. They love me. You know, why would I do anything extra? I'm a Spurs boy. I've got a mate.
Through and through. It's in my blood.
You home early, are you? David, I love it. But Darius, who's been the worst player of the season? Who's been your worst? Who wins the title? God. Who wins the award?
I don't know if I can top that. I'll do Olympics bronze, silver, and gold. So my bronze for worst players joint between Dele Marley, Dele Hullet, and Moon Boots. They're third. Second place, 100% is Harry Stinks. Your silver medal there. Harry, he needs to, like I said, him, Moon Boots, and my number one need to leave the club regardless of who comes in and who goes out. My number one for me personally has to be number 17. I'm going to point and not run. Musa Sissoko didn't do a thing. Probably the only centre mid worse than Harry Winks. At least Harry Winks did something. At least he can actually pass and score fluke goals. Sissoko can't do it.
Train. He got a bullet header against Brentford, lad.
I genuinely can't remember. I'm honestly telling you, I cannot remember that. I don't know if that's just bad bias, but Musa Sissoko for me, it's beef. It's beef. I'm sorry. And again, what he does, he thinks he's so good. I remember he tweeted something about lion recognizes lion. Bro, you are not a lion. You are not a lion.
What he meant is lion bar recognizes lion bar. And that was a tweet to end on Bele to meet at the corner shop and get some chocolate.
Okay, I was going to say, because, yeah, for me, I think Winks and Sissoko is switchable. I can't really explain how much I dislike those two. And I've never really enjoyed watching those two. Sissoko maybe for the one season that he joined after in 2017, but Harry Winks I've never been a fan of. And yeah, I
love that. I love both those answers. I really do love both those answers. And David even brought up one of my favorite things, which is just at this level of football, you wouldn't think that people would still do those things and maybe not passing to certain players, you know, in certain situations. It's crazy. They still even do that at that level. Yeah, I even heard some story. Benzema.
Imagine Toby Alderweireld. Imagine him running to Toby. Give me the ball, right? Now, Toby has the capability of pinging a 50-yard pass. When he sees Winks running towards him, he's laughing. He's laughing at him, honestly. Winksy, look, you know, you're trying to get outside again. Come on, man. Son, off you go, 40-yard, boom, straight to his foot. And he's there looking at Winks. He's like, come on, man. You know, just
he's probably in the way. He's probably telling Winks to get out of the way. He's probably telling him to get out of the way. He's in the way.
I bet you when them Amazon cameras weren't there, they had Winks in the canteen cleaning tables as that shit. I can guarantee he was top of the pitch.
I'm telling you. And he'd do a better job.
Yeah, probably would, actually. He's probably good at cleaning sideways. Dermot, big yourself up, and he's got another super chat in here, and he says, if you could pick any player from the 80s, who would it be? That's tough. I don't really exactly... David's probably going to have to help me because I don't really...
Glenn Hoddle, he's 80s, definitely, isn't he?
Jeez, lad, my hair is black. It's not grey, lad. I wasn't born in the 80s.
I know you weren't, David, but, you know, it's just harder for me. It's hard for me because I'm really young in it.
I think Glenn Hoddle's 80s. I'm pretty sure Glenn Hoddle's 80s. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I will go Glenn Hoddle because my dad used to go on about Glenn Hoddle a lot. So I'll have to go Glenn Hoddle. But this is 20 years before my time. So don't quote me on that.
You have Ozzy Ardiles as well. You know, Ricky Villa. Who else is there?
Oh, yeah, I've heard of Ricky Villa.
Graham Roberts was there in the 80s. You know, a lot of players there. I'm going to go Ozzy Ardiles purely because my old lad loved them.
Figure yourself up. So Dermot, that's what David's going with. I'm going to go with Glenn Hoddle as well, and then Ozzy Ardiles, and then Stefan Blois. He probably meant to put something in there, and I think it's down here. And it said, "It's sad we have to say this about our own players."
Look, this is the thing. I'm sorry. I don't want to be negative about Tottenham. I can't stress this enough. Go back and watch my content when we were winning. It was the most positive out there. I don't want to be negative, but they give me no reason to be positive.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only report on what I see. And if it's not good, well, then don't expect me to report good stuff. I'm not going to be delusional. I'm not going to be an idiot. You know what I mean? So if it's negative, then that's what they get. But I can't stress that enough. Look, I don't want to be negative, but they give me every reason to be. So it's
right.
their
And fuck the sentiment as well. Fuck the sentiment because it's the truth. These players have been shit this season. And That's all it is to it. I don't care what anyone says. You cannot tell me that Musa Sissoko, Eric Dyer, and Harry Stinks have had good seasons. I will hear anyone's opinion, but if you tell me that, you haven't been watching Spurs enough, in my opinion. I think any Spurs fan can say that those three players have not been good. Even if you like them, they have not been good this season. So, yeah.
Look, just get off the PlayStations. They may be good on the PlayStation and the Xbox, but they're not good in real life, and this is the problem. FIFA doesn't do any justice. You know, FIFA needs to start, you know, putting things in where it shows up players for what they are, because, you know, you have people coming to you nowadays, what about this player? Yeah, he's shit, man. You know, he's absolutely useless. He's done this, and this. Oh, but he's class in FIFA, and you're looking at it, honestly, you feel like exploding. Your head feels like it's exploding, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Going to move on to the next extra time because we are going a little bit over now. Maybe answer this.
We'll make this the last question. We'll make this last one.
Got him.
Yeah. Which trophy will Spurs win next? Win next? Will be the next one? Will it be a Premier League? Will it be an FA Cup? Will it be a Carabao? Will it be maybe the Europa Conference League? Will it be the Europa League? Will it be Champions League? What is it? What is going to be the next trophy? I mean, it doesn't have to be next season. It could be 3 seasons down the line. Just which one, if you're going to put all your money on a certain trophy that Spurs are going to win next, what would it be? What would be the wager?
Oh, I would definitely say first EFL, second Europa League. I think there's something about that Europa League we could actually win. I'll be really honest. And then, yeah, that shitty League Cup that you play the final in February, we'll probably win that in the next 5 years. And that'll probably paper over cracks and everybody like, well, we've won a trophy now. So everybody can stop saying that we don't win trophies.
The Carabao.
It's the Carabao. Like, I get it. We shouldn't turn our nose up. We can't. We're in no position.
No turning our nose up. No turning our nose up at a Carabao.
A Carabao is probably the most realistic. And yeah, I think Europa League would be great though. If we won the Europa League, that ticks every box for me. That would be amazing if we won the Europa League. So, yeah, I'm down for that. But yeah, League Cup's most realistic for me.
Yeah, David, what's the next one, David?
Look, for me, I think it's the FA Cup. If we're gonna win another cup, it has to be the FA Cup for me. I think that'll be the next one if we do lift one, purely because look, we're 8-time winners of the FA Cup. We have that history. You know, and we used to be nicknamed the Cup team, believe it or not. You know, so for me, yeah, I'd go with FA Cup as the next one. Will be lifting, if any.
Yeah, I completely agree. You know, I'm actually going to say it's going to be the Europa Conference League, just to be different. I do think the Europa Conference League, it's coming home. You know, I honestly would love to see us, you know, in the Albanian final, you know, against some other obscure team from, you know, maybe Eastern Europe. Just be absolutely glorious. We're going to be playing Union Berlin. I'd love us to smack them 7-0 for the lads from Erta. You know, it'd just be glorious. I'm looking forward to that tournament. So that's the one that I'm going to say we're winning. And maybe it's going to be Ryan Mason.
The trophy does look nice. I will admit that trophy does look very, very nice. So
it's a good one. And Ryan Mason, I think, is going to be heading the squad. He's going to bring it home.
Lord.
It's going to be glorious. It's going to be glorious. Just you wait. Just you wait. But you know what? That's a wrap for the show, everybody. I really do appreciate it. And everybody, I'm going to plug him right now, and I know he's going to get the chance, but I do think Darius, everybody, does deserve a round of applause in the chat. Everybody, tell us how great Darius has done. I think he's been absolutely sensational. You know, he's practically, he's almost been a Hojbjerg for us today. He's done the job of 2 men. Normally we have 4. And Bob, Bob did great as well, but he had to tap out a bit earlier just because he's been a really busy, long day. So Darius has done the work of 2 men. Yeah, and he's working now as well. And so Darius, he's practically, has been bombing up and down the pitch, doing the work of 2 men. And so he's just been sensational. So please, everybody, tell Darius how well he's done today.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
And Darius as well, let us know where you can find you.
So yeah, I'm normally on Paxton Road TV. Obviously, we do videos every Saturday and Tuesday at the moment. We have a few videos going out, obviously, for Euros and other content, but normally our Spurs content will be around Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And then if you can tolerate about 15, 20 tweets about Marvel and football a day, then follow me on Twitter at Darius3K. I don't know if you'll enjoy it. I can't promise you that, but I've put a lot of shit that I shouldn't really be saying on in public on there. So you'll probably be able to find a few maybe problematic tweets from my past. But yeah, have fun on my Twitter, Theirishyid, but most of all, YouTube, Paxton Road TV, and also Jack Kineke and Hojbjerg, guys, literally the best guys. Every time I've been on this stream twice, and I literally love it every single time. And these guys are always on people's shows, no matter how many subs they've got, they're always on people's shows. So I've got to say, big love to you guys. And anytime you want me on, I'll do a job. I might even come.
Done more than a job, Darius. You've done more than a job, mate.
I had so much.
Honestly, scored a brace.
could talk about football, maybe not necessarily Spurs every day, but I could talk about football every day, every hour. So if you ever need any non-Spurs content, I'll be there straight away. If you need Spurs content, you might need to convince me, but I'll still be here. But thank you guys for having me. I had a lot of fun. I did have a lot of fun.
Love that. Take it away, David.
Yeah, look, I just want to say thank you so much for Darius tonight. I do think he's been absolutely brilliant. He's been a brilliant guest. Honestly, the comments are off the chain here, Darius. So much comments about you. I
them all. Thank you so much, everyone. I can see them all.
It's honestly, it's insane. There's a lot here. It's
even got massive. Messi. Even Messi's complimenting me. You know, you've made it when Messi's complimenting you.
I'm telling you. By the way, Messi, I forgot to do the usual, but Cristiano Ronaldo is the GOAT. Seen that today. What a legend. He's equaled the record of most goals in international football. The Iranian striker held it. He's now equaled it. He just needs one more and he becomes the all-time scorer of goals at international football. But back to things, because my phone is going dead here, so I do need to get it ended. But make sure you please do get over to Paxton Road. Anytime I'm on the channel, it's an absolute riot. It's an absolute laugh.
We're almost on 500 subs. Almost.
Along with a lot of great content, a lot of great questions. And look, if you've enjoyed Darius, you also have Mike and you have Shane over there as well. Two brilliant guys as well. Trust me, you will not regret the Harris Army. Paxton Road TV, get over and smash that subscribe button. They deserve it. Make sure you do it. Also, let's not forget about Bob. Bob was here today. He's 100%. Up early tomorrow for work. So make sure you get off to Bob Spur TV. Smash the subscribe button on his channel. We are trying to get him to 1K. We're only about, I think, 10 to 13 people off getting to 850. So let's get that done, the Harris Army. The link for both channels for Paxton Road TV and Bob Spur TV is both in the description below. Make sure you do get over and smash subscribe and help them out. If you've liked this stream, make sure you do smash a like on the stream and subscribe on this channel. You're going to help me push to 4K. I want to say thank you, everybody, for the super chats, for your support. It's absolutely insane. And honestly, I couldn't keep doing this without you guys. So thank you so much. You're helping me achieve my dream. And I owe it all to you, the Harris Army. Also, Jack, where can people find you? The man with the questions, the man with the brain.
Real main man.
David, listen, they can always find me alongside you. Plenty of shows we got coming up here, David. Practically now, David and I have to start working on our Euro predictions for the knockout rounds. We're gonna see how we did, especially with Germany actually qualifying.
Germany got England, right?
Yeah. Germany got England.
So that's England
gonna be a cracker.
I'll give you one prediction you can guarantee that you can put me on.
Yes, and I'll agree with you on that one.
Just quickly, honestly, because I do need to end this. I do. Just quickly. The one thing you can guarantee, and I've seen it at all Germany-England games, don't tell me it doesn't happen. You'll see a few fans on the English side dressed up as RAF pilots, and they'll go to the game. They've done it before for Germany games, so, put your fiver on that. You can guarantee it's going to happen again. And for anyone that doesn't believe me, I will go and get a picture and I'll share it. It happens, trust me.
Yeah. And so, they can always find me alongside David. They can also find me at Tottenham Way with Stell, Brian's, Shy, Iggy, Johnny Einstein, plenty of Shelfside Spurs, plenty of people over there, the whole Tottenham Way family. I'm always there as well.
Make sure you get all the names now today.
All the names there. Got to get all the names in, David. Got to get all the names in, David. But as well, you can always find me alongside David, whatever things we're coming out with. And, he's the partner in crime. And then I'm going to finish it off with his super chat from Alex Burleton. Big man. I believe he's from Texas as well. He's an absolute legend. Oh, wow. He says they give you no reason to be positive, but what's the one area? That's the one area we do excel. Absolutely. It is something we absolutely, there's no better team in negativity than us. There's no better team in poor football and poor results than us at this moment in time. So absolutely agree with you, Alex. And, there's no better team at it. So take the pride. You got to take the medal. But going to end it off there. I think everybody, thank you so much for all the support. And David, take it away.
Yeah, look, what we have coming up tomorrow, I have we're going through the 80s with the grey-haired gang. That's Philip, that's Simon, that's Arthur. Anyone wants a nice history lesson, make sure you tune in. And then I'll tell you tomorrow what to expect for the rest of the week. Come on, you Tottenham, up the Harris Army. You're all legends. See y'all tomorrow. Have a good one. Oh, sorry, quickly, the usual. Nobody needs to be down. Nobody needs to be upset. Nobody needs to be alone. You can. My email address is there. My Twitter is there. Get in contact. I'll give you my number, whatever. I'm always there to support and help everybody. Don't be alone. Get in contact. You always have a friend in me. Over and out.
Great point.
See you guys.
Big up.